All right. Welcome to the special holiday edition of the Red Pill Phone Tap. Joined, as always, the real brains behind this operation. Anthony, how have you been doing during this holiday season, sir?
Man, I've been great. I feel this is the last episode of the year, so I feel like this is going to be like a perfect cap on 2019 and bringing that red pill phone tap talk to the people.
There we go. Last one of the year, and this is a very important episode, Anthony, because Episode 8 is an episode of learning, and because it's the last episode of the year, we do need to recap. I mean, even though we're not far into what this podcast could be, we're only eight episodes deep. We do need to take a step back and give some recognition to our viewers. Anthony, we are now, the Red Pill Phone Tap is in 11 different countries.
Nice.
On this planet Earth. We want to give a shout out to our listeners here in the U.S., of course, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of our people listening in the U.S. Second biggest country, Turkey.
Hey.
Shout out to our people over in Turkey. We appreciate your listenership. Got some friends over in New Zealand, Anthony. I'm sure they've loved our take on the crocodile hunter.
I wonder if our listeners from Turkey is from the 90-Day Fiance.
We hope so. We hope so. Thank you again to our U.S., Turkey, New Zealanders. Also want to thank our friends that are listening in India, Canada, Thailand, Vietnam, Brazil. Speaking of 90-Day Fiance,
hey,
right?
Look, we touching base to the 90-Day Fiance victims out there.
And we have a few listening in Sweden and Australia. Wherever you are listening to the Red Pill Phone Tap, broadcasted right over here at Navigation Studios, we want to thank you guys. We want to wish you not only a happy holiday, but a great upcoming new year. Anthony, we've got some pretty exciting things to talk about with our viewers today. We're going to talk about red pill and the red pill, how it affects when you're visiting maybe people you don't visit as much, but you visit them during the holidays. We're going to talk about red pill during the holidays. We're going to talk about tonight words, in a race to be nice and to be woke, as some people are calling it. Words sometimes, Anthony, no longer have meaning. We're going to talk about that on the show today. We're going to talk about a very important topic, and I'd like to give credit here to our host, Anthony. This is going to be something I've never read about in books. This is all your theory, and I think it's very, very important for our guys and gals out there, to be honest. And it's going to talk about promotions and demotions. When guys are dating gals, promotions and demotions. And this is going to be a great segment for our people that maybe haven't been dating in quite a while, coming out of a divorce. But it's going to be particularly great for our listeners that are serial monogamists. You find that you haven't been vetting women, and you find that promotions and demotions. This is going to be a big segment for you guys, and it's going to change your dating life. I can speak to it, especially because it changed mine. And if we have time, and I think we will, when it comes to vetting women, our guys out there that are on the dating scene, when it comes to vetting women, does a woman's past matter? And we've got a really good segment. If we don't get to it in this show, we'll try to go into an episode 9. But I think we'll have time tonight because popular opinion is going to be that, a woman's past doesn't matter. But we're gonna peel back the layers of that onion tonight in the fourth segment.
We're going to test the envelope on the reality of that, because when we look at it as a whole, we always say, just because it sounds nice or it sounds good, we don't want to push the envelope and have a honest discomfort, do we, or honest conflict?
And you and I say this a lot, Anthony, but I don't think we've ever said it on the show. In that same sentiment, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right.
Exactly.
It doesn't, and I'm sorry. That's the reality that I think a lot of people, their life would be a lot better online and offline if you just realize, just because you're offended doesn't mean your opinion is correct.
Speak on it.
Yeah. Let's jump right into this. Let's jump into Red Pill during the holidays. Anthony did some great show prep for us on this that I'm really proud to bring to our listeners today. This all started, Anthony, when you and I did the pre-show. I didn't realize that you had witnessed this happening, but we were having a little holiday get-together. Of course, Anthony was there, and we had someone that had some honest juice, shall we say?
Okay,
honest juice in the form of vodka, and we said something about. I was making a joke, and it was kind of a self-deprecating joke, talking about our show, in a moment of humility. But
what'd you say? I mean,
I don't even remember. I said something. Oh, I think I remember what it was. My brother had said, "Wow, I didn't realize you guys use the word simp so much."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Yeah, when it comes to the Red Pill Phone Tap, our podcasts, simps come up every now and then." Yeah. And then someone was kind of joining in the fun, and it's kind of one of those things where someone's pretending like they're joking, but they're being honest.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure that never comes up on your show, like alpha males doesn't come up on your show, and beta males, and I'm sure women are just painted in the best light also." And it was kind of a ha 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 moment, but it was one of those things where, I mean, socially we kind of do things to just kind of go along, get along, because right after that we're out of the conversation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it wasn't something we wanted to delve into, especially, and I need a lot of our Red Pill guys to understand this. If you know you can't reach someone, just let it alone.
Yep.
Just let it alone. People got to come to the Red Pill on their own time, and this leads us into, some great stuff Anthony put together for you. Some people, whether you're listening in New Zealand or India or Thailand or whatever, some people may be puzzled when we use the term red pill, right? And because we do have a lot of people listening from different countries now, in case you don't understand the analogous reference, this is the term red pill is brought to us from it's an analogy in the movie The Matrix, the American movie The Matrix. And there's a part during the movie where one of the main characters, Morpheus, says, "Hey, you know what? If you take this blue pill, you can just go back to the life you were living, and you don't have to have any more knowledge," right? If you take the red pill, you can see how far down this rabbit hole goes and what the Matrix is and how it affects people.
And offering you the truth and only the truth.
Yeah, and he says, "But I need you to understand, I'm only offering you the truth. This isn't going to make your life better immediately, but I'm just offering you the truth." And, of course, our hero, Neo, goes and he takes the red pill, and then he finds out, wow, the real world's kind of rough. People don't have very nice clothes. They're kind of just dressed in rags. They're running from computers. They're eating overly soggy oatmeal. But he learns, what the real world is. And so that's the analogy when you're...
How would you rather live your life, though?
Right.
Would you rather live your life in pure ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that there may be something, or understanding what the reality of it is, and understand that what you came out of wasn't the truth? It was a perception of the truth, right?
Right. And Anthony, you brought up, and as we were doing our pre-show, you brought up that you get asked the question a lot. What is our show about? And if you don't know what the red pill is, or you don't know about this online community of what we call red pill men, then you don't really, if we just tell you it's a red pill show. And the reason we call it the Red Pill Phone Tap is because these are conversations Anthony and I have at least 5 times a week.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes 7 times a week about the red pill, what we're observing out in the real world. So Anthony's idea to name it the Red Pill Phone Tap was you get to listen to the conversations we're having. And at the risk of sounding arrogant, we think these conversations that we're having about these topics, because we're a little bit advanced in the red pill world. We're not the most advanced, but we're a little advanced, especially to guys that are just kind of finding the red pill. And so we thought these conversations would be valuable, and so we made a podcast. But Anthony, if we're not using manosphere jargon, and just saying it's a red pill show, it's kind of hard for us to tell people what our show's about. However, leave it to Anthony. Anthony put together a brief paragraph on what our show is. Anthony, give it to our viewers. What is our show really about?
It is, in my opinion, in layman terms, for people don't, like you just said, don't understand red pill vernacular, I would say it's really about like social dynamics between men and women in relationships and today's dating environment, from the perspective of men who learn how to interact with women from the standpoint of knowing and understand female behavior, female subconsciousness, and the way females speak, because they never mean what they say. And that's a little snippet of the perspective we come from, and how we actually attack certain topics and conversations out here. So if you're out here and if that sounds like something you'll be interested in, I think this podcast is perfect for opening your eyes to something that you may not be aware of when it comes to understanding men and women and how we interact with each other out here when we're trying to date each other, or even develop enough chemistry or vibration between each other to be in a what we call a relationship, right? And a relationship can be on multiple levels. So, and just have a open mind to, there are levels to this shit when it comes to dealing with females and females dealing with men. And we kind of, I love it, man. Like we talk about all the time. We love looking at the behaviors of men and women and watching, like we talked about the 90 Day Fiance. That is a perfect way, a perfect look into how women act when interacting with men that have value, and when men don't have the value that they're seeking, how women react. So, yeah, quick little synopsis of what the show is, to give you a quick reminder, and hopefully if this is your first time listening, it explains it.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to piggyback on that with, especially for our new listeners, and when Anthony's talking about 90 Day Fiance, it's a reality show on TLC. Is it TLC? Yeah. And we reference that a lot because it's great to watch this show and see people from other cultures and countries. What we have observed is people, especially women from other cultures and countries, don't tend to they don't tend to have as much curtain as as women from other countries are very comfortable expressing they like very masculine men,
right.
and they almost kind of get puzzled when men are not masculine,
exactly.
is what we've observed, versus over here in the United States, though U.S. women love masculine men, they say the opposite because culturally things have happened with the feminist movement. But the thing I really want to piggyback on with what he said is I like to compare having interactions with as a man that's dating, that's in the dating world, or as a man that's in relationships, even with women.
Right.
I like to compare your interactions with women like I would compare it to like traffic. You know, traffic is frustrating, isn't it?
Yes.
You're trying to get somewhere. Let's use it as an analogy in life, but there's like all this traffic before you get there. Traffic is frustrating, but we all know there's not some mastermind that's creating traffic for you. It just is because there's a lot of people trying to get where they're going also.
Yeah.
Right? So just because women are frustrating, it doesn't mean that they're mastermindedly doing things. Okay. First of all, when they do mastermind things, they don't realize the evil of what they're doing. When we talk about female hypergamy, and we've done a lot of podcasts about female hypergamy, they don't realize it. You know what I mean? Just like it's like if you really wanted to break it down, like humans are evil to cows, but we don't sit around and think about like, man, you know what? Next time I see me a cow, I'm going to fucking stab it. Yeah. And I'm going to fucking cut its ears off. And ha-ha! And then, guess what? I'm going to have the best hamburgers I ever had. No. We just kind of live our life and like, oh, a hamburger. Let me eat this. Mom made hamburgers tonight.
You had me nervous there for a second.
That's what I'm saying. When women are hypergamous, this is just what life is and how it's available to them. Yeah. Women... I really want to, as we go into the new year, a lot of you in our listening world are going to have new goals. You're going to have a lot of self-improvement goals, especially. I really want you, coming into the new year, to understand women are not masterminding. It's not like a villain in a movie, you know, a real pure villain that has no, you know, they've got nothing in life that they want to do except just be evil. You know, yeah. I mean, it's a very complex thing. And like I said, your interactions, if you're a guy, your interactions with women, you need to look at it like traffic. Traffic is never not going to be frustrating. It's always, every time you're trying to get somewhere. And how often when you're trying to get somewhere, do you sit back in the car and go, man, there's no traffic. Man, I'm so thankful right now. No. Let me pull over to the side of the road and just give a quick prayer to the traffic gods and thank them. No, you just try to get to your destination as soon as you can. There's no mastermind villain that just creates traffic for you. So, you know, guys, as you know, we go through what Anthony's talking about, the interactions between men and women. Similarly, when women experience something negative, there's not some mastermind guy. We're humans, guys, and we kind of think with our minds like a computer. And we think we can logic ourselves, and no one's more guilty of this than women are. You know, women just wish the world was a certain way, so then they just act like it's a certain way. Okay? Case in point. Over the holidays, because, you know, this segment is about red pill during the holidays, I was hanging out with a friend and his wife, and I would love to plug this YouTube show. It's a NPR music show. I'm going to look it up for our viewers right now. But it's one of those things where you'll just have great artists come on, you know, from current and, you know, we saw T-Pain was on there. and we Florence and the Machine were on there, and it was a cool little holiday thing where we had a Fire Stick TV outside, and we were just watching different NPR, shows, right? And it's called, and I'm sorry guys, it's called NPR Music Tiny Desk Concert, and it's in a really, really tiny room. Okay, so we'd love to plug the show because the show's great. So one of my favorite artists from the 90s that I crushed on was Natalie Merchant. Okay, and if you guys go back and look up Natalie Merchant on MTV Unplugged, I believe from 1995 or 1994, you'll see what a gorgeous girl, and also what a beautiful, beautiful voice. And on this NPR Music Tiny Desk Concert, her voice, Anthony, she still has the chops. Like, her voice is still this soothing musical marvel to me. It's just very, very touching, and she's a very deep person. She was lead singer of a band for 10,000 Maniacs.
So not only was she sings as far as lyrics,
yeah,
her voices are actually...
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. And she does a song, because I was a victim of child abuse as a child. She does a song when she's lead singer of 10,000 Maniacs called What's the Matter Here? It's about child abuse. Very, very deep song about child abuse. Anthony, you can see the admiration I have for this artist.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want it to be very, very clear, right? So this NPR Music Tiny Desk Concert was on January 12th of 2016. And Natalie Merchant has had the motherfuck beat out of her by Father Time. I mean, she has aged, okay?
Okay.
And so, because it was one of my crushes when I was in high school, I was disappointed. I was like, oh man, some people age so well. It's okay for me to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Someone I used
Father
to find
Time
really attractive.
Is undefeated.
He's undefeated, but some people fight him off really hard.
Right.
And you'll be like, God, man, she looks amazing.
Right,
Right.
It's rare, though.
Yeah, it's rare, but it's cool when it happens.
Yeah.
And it's cool to recognize when it happens, right?
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and I'm like, wow, she is not aged well. Damn it. And the friend's wife I'm with she insists that Natalie Merchant is so, God, but she's beautiful. She's like, look at her. She's beautiful. Oh, and I'm like, no, man. No, I'm just like, no, man. She used to be beautiful. She's not. Now,
Okay.
Again, we're talking about Red Pill during the holidays, Anthony. I have to just go ahead, and this is what drives me insane. I have to go ahead and concede, yeah, she looks kind of good. It's just so I can get out of this conversation. Because, Anthony, it drives me crazy when we can't just be honest. Because, comparatively speaking, Jennifer Lopez just turned 50, right?
Yes.
Jennifer Lopez looks amazing. God. Now, you and I talked on the phone earlier this week. We both know she didn't just get up and
accidentally be
How much work did this take, man?
Right,
I mean, how
right.
much CrossFit did she have to do? How much dancing did she have to do?
Right.
Is she on HGH? What kind of workouts and weightlifting is she doing? So it's Jennifer Lopez is the exception, not the rule. But when you look at her, you're like, holy fuck, she is gorgeous. You can't go, and I apologize to our viewers because this is an inside joke between Anthony and I. You can't look at Natalie Merchant and Jennifer Lopez and go, #same. Yeah, they're both beautiful. #same.
No.
We talked about it this week. If aliens came down from another planet and they were trying to study humans and like what our views are and shit, they'd be like, I don't understand this. What y'all usually call beautiful, this doesn't look
correlate.
Yeah. And as we talk about women saying things that they don't mean, I think they do mean it. I don't think they're lying to us. They really think. I think what they're doing when they say things they don't mean, what they're really doing is they're not lying. They're saying, "I wish this was true. I wish, yeah, I want it to be true, so it is true." The gal that was giving us the comment, she might be feeling, because I'm getting older and they're around our age. She might be a little sensitive that she's getting older.
Yeah.
But I want older women to be beautiful. So and I'm beautiful. And then stop with all, well, yeah, but look at her as a whole. I did. Did you hear the whole intro I gave you to Natalie Merchant?
Yeah.
If I met Natalie Merchant today, I would still be starstruck.
Right.
But is Natalie Merchant a farm animal? Rather? Is Natalie Merchant an automobile? No, neither. She's also not beautiful.
Right.
Okay, you can't just fucking. Well, no. But look at her. Look at the body of her work, Anthony. It kind of makes her a farm animal, doesn't it? Right? Like she could give milk to a child, and cows produce milk for. You know what I'm saying? But that's how women sound to me. That's how silly they sound.
Okay.
But no, I mean, if you look at her voice and she's kind of, the whole body of her is beautiful. It's like, no, you know what I'm saying when I say beautiful. I mean physically beautiful. So here's the thing. Me being disappointed about a sex symbol for me not looking as good. Do you think I respect that person less, Anthony? I mean, you heard my whole intro of her.
You don't respect her less. You just understand that she's not beautiful in the sense of what beautiful is.
Yeah, physically.
No, any longer. You thought she was beautiful then and even beyond at some point. The reality is that she no longer looks that way.
Why am I mean? Why am I mean for talking about reality?
You're not.
No, well, people outside of this podcast, I mean, no, God, Wesley, you're so mean. It's like, dude, I'm not mean. The emotion I have, when I look at Natalie Merchant, I'm like, oh, I'm disappointed. She's not beautiful anymore. It's the same emotion I have, like, if I overcook the Thanksgiving turkey. It's like, damn it, it's a little drier than I wanted to. I mean, I'm still going to eat it. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to be insulting to Natalie Merchant. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But I had to kind of go along, get along.
How does it make you feel inside to have to dumb down your reality when you're like, someone's telling you what you say is beautiful. I mean, it's no longer beautiful. It's still beautiful. Does that make you say, or does it make it feel like someone's trying to pull you into some kind of false reality or fantasy land?
Yes. I mean, Anthony, I think you articulated it better than I could. It's like I'm being pulled into some bizarro universe. Why can't the reality be, and I'm not going to be like women, but I want this to be true, so it is true. Because they're not mean for lying. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the mean person because I'm talking about the truth, but you're clearly lying. You're clearly lying because you're trying to like do something where you want it to be true, but she's not beautiful. I encourage you guys, look it up on YouTube if you want to see what she looks like. And by the way, look it up on YouTube because it's an amazing musical performance.
Yeah.
I endorse it. But it's Natalie Merchant, NPR, that's November Papa Romeo, NPR, Music Tiny Desk Concert. When you see the thumbnail come up, that's not a beautiful woman on the screen. Is she ugly? No, not at all. She's not ugly, but you don't look at that and go, Jesus Christ, I need a moment to myself. I need to masturbate to this thumbnail. Like, you are never, really, Wesley? Is that all women are to you? Is sex objects? No, extreme communicator. I didn't say that. Her voice is amazing. And you and I talked about this week. Remember the analogy we used? I was like, if Natalie Merchant came to me and was like, yeah, I know, man. Look, I was in show business for a lot of years. I had to dance around. I had to sing every time I left the house. Someone was going to take a photo of me. So I couldn't just like walk out of my house and check the mail or just go down to the grocery store and just put my hair in a ponytail or something. Everything I wore was going to be like, what's Natalie up to? Stripes with plaids. Yeah, not in 1996, girl. You know?
If you live your life under a microscope, like that's gotta be taxing on you.
100%. Yeah. And if she just says, Wesley, I just got tired of it, man. I have a great family. I ain't got to worry about money anymore. It was always more about the music for me anyways. That's what I'm really passionate about. But being part of the showbiz scene, you got to have looks too, or they can't sell your shit. It was just taxing to me, and I got everything I want now. And I was always more passionate about the music. I just fucking gave up.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you know what? That sounds rational to me. Cool. But
that still don't make you beautiful,
yeah,
bitch.
Don't make you beautiful, bitch. That's what I'm saying. Again, she's not a farm animal. She's not an automobile. She's not made out of metal. She's also not beautiful. Okay? Yeah. You can't say she's something that she's not. And this is the kind of shit that you have to deal with, going and seeing people during the holidays. Now, in this case specifically, I see these people all the time. But I think for most people, and I think that's why I'm passionate about this podcast. That's why I'm passionate about trying to lead people to the red pill truth, is because I don't want, and this can kind of go into our first big segment, I don't want to live in a world where words don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and I talk about the show that we watch religiously, the 90 Day Fiancé. There was the American gal that grew up and moved to Russia. Married the Russian gentleman.
Yeah.
For our listeners that don't watch the show, the Russian guy is very much a bodybuilder. He is the third woman that he's impregnated. She is the third woman that he's impregnated, and he's left both the other chicks. He left them back in Russia.
Right.
So obviously, the gal has made a bad decision, but she's already had the kid. But she's living under constant paranoia she's just going to be the third bitch that he leaves.
Yeah, your past matters, bro.
Good teaser for our last segment, right?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where she comes back to the States and they stay with her older sister. It is an older sister. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, just a sister.
Her sister, and the the mother is hotter than the sister.
Oh, 100.
100%. And it's clear that the sister just does not take care of herself. And here we go. They have this scene where he says, "You eat this for breakfast?" And he's talking about cereal. He's looking at all the sugar in it.
Yeah.
And he looks at the mom and he goes, "Do you eat this for breakfast?" And then she says, "No, I don't eat that for breakfast." And he points at her body and he just goes, "Yeah, I can tell you don't eat this for breakfast."
That was hilarious.
But also with the insinuation that, like, well, you're fat. You obviously eat this for breakfast. Now, going into this segment where words no longer have meaning, see, the mom is part of a generation where people didn't do this weird shit like, "No, girl, no. You are beautiful no matter what, girl. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're 300 pounds or 103 pounds. Blah, blah. But the mom comes from a generation where it's more like her mom's going, "Bitch, you better not fucking get 200 pounds. Cool. Let women tell you that you'll get the same kind of man at 200 pounds that you'll get at 100. Watch. That bitch will take the better husband. You'll fucking be stuck with some loser." Like, they were very, like, that generation was really good preparing women for marriage.
Yeah.
And the mom to this day is still attractive.
What I liked about the women in her area, they help women accountable when they would come to, like for instance, the younger woman come to them and say, "Hey, this is going on in the marriage," and the woman was like, "Hey, you gotta cook, you gotta go back home actually, and deal with what you're dealing with, and this is how you do it." But women, there's no mother telling their daughters that, hey, stay in shape, cook meals, be feminine, don't do all this fucking talking back shit, don't alienate him and try to be better than him. Let him be the man. There's no women telling other women this shit.
How to be good wives,
right?
More specifically,
well,
you know what?
Even if they're not
good wives, how to be good wives is whatever you think it is. What I'm trying to point out are the things you just pointed out. Those are things that will help you from divorce.
Correct.
Because that'll keep guys around. Yeah. Even though, physically and psychologically, men are not really set up well for monogamy. I mean, we're just not.
Yeah.
So it is a sacrifice that we make, monogamy. Ladies, it's all good. We happily, men make sacrifices so often, we're used to it, okay? So I'm not saying that every morning you wake up, you need to thank your lucky stars that your man sacrificed polygamy, I guess, in this case. I mean, but dating other women for you, we don't expect you to. But it is true. No, it's not true, Wesley. No, men find the one, and then they're loyal to them because I'm a princess and I'm going to be a queen in my kingdom. And it's not true, ladies. Men, watch your man. Watch your man watch a movie with Halle Berry or Charlize Theron. You're going to see, like, physically, he can't help but be attractive. And if you're with one of these weirdo guys that aren't like that, spoiler, hold on, let me guess. Yeah. First of all, they're probably a little effeminate.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And again, it's part of this. And I'm not trying to use that as a way out to make myself right. But we've seen these effeminate guys because the modern day society we live in it's very confusing for men, strategies on how to win. And one of the strategies some guys will use is they just kind of want to become women because they've been told it's the right answer.
Well, yeah, that's
by society.
The false narrative that women put out there. Like we say, women don't say what they mean,
Well, Anthony, there's something that's happening with me. There's some kind of record screech in my brain. The way that you're saying it, I know what you're saying.
Okay.
But I feel like our listeners think you're saying, women lie to you.
I mean, if you want to put it in a basic level,
I don't think they're trying to be.
It's not a conscious lie.
Right.
It's what we say all the time. They think this is what they want because
they're idealists. Women are very emotional, so they're very idealist driven.
There's this conception that they, like we say, I want a sensitive guy. But if that guy is a actual sensitive guy where he's crying a lot about what affects him and he's emotional about what happens to him on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and that woman is like, why are you being a punk? Like, man up. They'll tell them. You hear women all the time, hey, man up.
Yeah, well, especially when it's convenient for them. And that's more when they lean towards the evil side.
But you want him to be sensitive. How can you tell a man to man up, but you want him to be sensitive?
Right.
But you don't want him to be sensitive all the time, right? You want him to be sensitive for your convenience.
Right.
That's what that really is.
It's also, you and I talk about this a lot. Women want men that just kind of know what's up. When they say that they want a sensitive guy, and women kind of, well, men and women now communicate in extremes. That's the 2019. Hopefully not the 2020.
You can get away with it now.
Yeah, you can get away with it now. So they communicate in extremes. So women will have an experience where a guy was completely insensitive to her and blew her the fuck off and was just uncaring about her feelings. And she'll communicate, man, I wish I could be with a more sensitive guy. Men will hear this and just go completely sensitive and be like, yeah, and what we see a lot is they'll act like the girlfriend or the girl he's dating is their mom. And he is just now a titty baby. Yeah. Her opinion is his opinion.
Exactly.
Her dreams are now his dreams.
Yeah.
It's just, and then they expect, just like the mom, she needs to love me unconditionally.
This is a guy that's saying, "Is this the key to pussy?"
Right.
That's exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's the state men are in. So wait, women said this. That equals pussy.
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
So you're saying men. So men, all they want is pussy. Again, stop communicating in extremes. But pussy is very, very physically important to us.
Yeah.
Now, men get shamed for this. You know, a little sidebar to this. Men get shamed for wanting vagina, because, by the way, it works.
Well,
you know, for some reason, society.
Yeah. Biologically, you're driven to obtain it. Like, there's not a...
Oh, but they're not gonna give us any... You're just allowed to shame men for wanting vagina. Now, what I try to compare to women, I try to compare it like this. Every day at 12 o'clock, ladies, does something happen to your body around noon when your job typically gives you about an hour off to do a particular task that your body physically wants? Yeah, it's called you're hungry. It's lunch. What if somebody was like, so that's all you care about is lunch? That's all. Oh, so you're telling me that's all women want is lunch? That we gotta have a whole work day designed for, like, they get an hour off just so they can go eat some food? Man, let me tell you something, ladies. You ain't gonna die if you don't have lunch. So what's the problem? What is the problem? How come every day y'all gotta do this? I mean, is that all you want in the life is lunch? It's like, that's what it sounds like to me when women shame men for sex. It's like, look, I was born this way, goddammit. I mean, what is the stat, Anthony? How often do men think about sex? Is it every 7 seconds or something?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's on average, right? That's an average. So it's not even, some are doing it even longer. I mean, or shorter. So it's like, well, if I, as a man, could change that, you know, if I could think about sex less, I would get a lot more done. God. I would get a lot more done. I wouldn't give a fuck about.
I would easily take that pill.
Women, and I would get so much more done.
And you could not be manipulated.
Not at all.
Oh, God.
Not at all. Think about men, and men, if you're honest with yourselves, you probably been in relationships longer than you wanted to because you had a lot of access to her vagina. And you think women don't understand that? You think women don't know that giving access to her vagina is keeping you around? You think she's just unaware of that?
And that's why they ration it also. Try to control you.
Because they use it as a weapon, right? They use it as a negotiating tool.
And is it because they're mean? No. It's because it's all they have. Patrice O'Neill pointed out to us a long time ago.
You gonna break... Ooh, wait. Listen, that is a... That is a red pill for your ass when you realize what it is that you have is all you have, and it is always the ace in the hole, right?
Right.
And when you try to take it away, this is why this show exists. For men who think that if she takes away her vagina, I have to comply or I have to compromise. Do not fall off your square as a man. If she's, what do you say? We don't negotiate with terrorists. If she's going to hold something that is, now if you're in a, is it? I guess we're talking about relationships, right? When we're talking about vagina.
Not
we,
necessarily.
Well,
and because I was about to add in, the way you don't get manipulated by a woman's vagina is she can't be the only vagina you have access to until you're in a relationship. And when you vetted a woman properly, you know that she's not the type of woman that's just going to manipulate you rather with her vagina, because you vetted her, right? You made sure she's not going to do this to you. When you're in a situation where you're being manipulated by a woman's vagina, one of two things happened. Okay, either you didn't have enough irons in the fire to make sure that you have access to other vaginas, or you made a relationship choice with the wrong woman. She is manipulating you with her vagina.
I think some men put themselves in a bad position because they get enamored with the vagina of a woman, instead of,
especially a beautiful one, right?
Especially when they have just open access to it, where I can get it whenever I want. She's not holding it back, but when she wants something, she uses it as a tool of negotiation.
Well, and then let's talk about something even more specific. Sometimes, because I like what you just said, she will give you access to sex whenever, but she's doing some other fucked up shit over here. But you always are able to have sex.
That's why you're still there.
Yeah, that's why you're still there. Because a lot of women don't do that. Now, also, we've kind of gone off on a tangent here.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I like it because I think it's important.
Okay.
So, Anthony, what would you say to women? Because I can already hear them. What would you say to women? Like, oh, so I got to give him sex whenever he wants? So what? So I ain't got a choice in this? So what would you say to that? I mean, I know I have an answer for it, but what would you say to that?
You're getting sex back. This is not a...
But she's tired, Anthony. She doesn't feel like it. She's tired.
Okay, then...
That's what we always hear. I'm tired.
You're giving... My thing is this.
Could you imagine if women... just real quick.
My wallet is tired, goddammit. You know what I mean?
When women talk about being tired, could you imagine if women had the penis?
Oh my!
There would be no sex going on at all, because the person with the penis is doing the most physical work.
Right.
And if women are too tired to just fucking lay there and take some dick, I mean, what would it be like if they had the dick? No sex would ever happen. None.
The lies that are said with that, I think it's.
I believe they're tired, because women are generally in the year 2019. I've never seen women more lazy than they are today.
Too tired to have sex?
Well, I'm just saying, I believe that they're too...
I'm not saying you're not tired, but too tired to have sex?
Yeah, I just don't feel like it.
You tired when you cook the meal. You tired when you was helping the kid. These are tasks that's helping your family be a family. You think being a family and having sex with your man is not being part of the family?
And Anthony illuminates the real thing we're getting to. Having sex with your husband is part of having a family. That's part of it. It is one of your duties as a wife. Oh, I know. And you know what? I can already see these emails. My duty as a wife is having sex. Ladies that are writing those emails to this show, I want you to ask yourself a question. What are your duties? Because here's where we're at in 2019. You think you have none. You think people just fucking being around you is so amazing. No, I'm serious, ladies. Ask yourself what, and then if we ask them point blank what their duties are and say, because you think you have none, now they've got to, I've got to re-strategize what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the duties is to cook for my family, but he got to cook too. They can't talk about their duties only, can they?
Right.
They can't. Because I'm already thinking about one of our most loyal listeners who's female. I won't mention because I'm not trying to be mean, but immediately they'd be like, well, I know she would say this. I know that I got to cook, but he got to cook too. And it's like, no. We just need you to talk about women for just a second. Okay. Well, I got to clean, but I mean, you got to share some of the duties. I mean, some people in the house got to clean. It's like, why don't y'all just be honest? Y'all literally think you have no duties as a wife. You just think you're a princess in a castle, and we're all fucking here to serve you.
When we talk about vetting women and we're asking these questions and when we're like dealing with women, let me give you an analogy. If your boss comes to you and tells you that, hey, you're not doing this for your job, are you going back and telling him that, hey, you're not doing this? What about you? What about you?
God, that's such a great analogy. Yep. You do not do that to your boss.
Not at all.
Also, this is something you don't do to your boss either. Hey, excuse me, boss, like you're good and you've made a good company that we can all work for and everything, and I appreciate that. That's why I'm working here, because I wanted to find a good company to work for that you created. But now that I'm here, the power is 50-50. Like, you would never say that shit to your boss. Ever. Because just like a marriage.
I need to make some decisions now.
Yeah, now I need, even though you built this company before I got here, now it's 50-50. Now, I can already hear this too. So you're saying husband is a boss? I am saying this. No organization of humans ever works where everybody's going 50-50. Never. We never have like, okay, just got hired on at Google. Guess what? I got as much power as the CEO does now. Ha ha. All right. Yeah. Let's all go. Everybody at Google has the same amount of power. We can all, nobody's in charge of anybody. No.
And we are, we use that employee owned, where we all have stake in the company. And there's a point in life where when I'm viewing women and she's trying to be a part of my life, right? She wants to be a part of my programming, where my program says, if you're with me, sex is not a negotiable item. Sex is. That's just what it is in my program. And we don't argue. There's no arguing. We don't. One thing you told me, Wesley, that you said you have no negotiation about is that we don't talk down to each other.
Well, specifically, we don't call each other names.
Right. That's what. Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah.
You don't.
That is a zero negotiation.
Yeah. That's a boundary, right?
Yeah.
That's you saying you will not disrespect me by calling me something outside of my name.
Yeah, and it's not even an ego thing to me, as much as it's like, just like, you don't murder people because it's fucking wrong. You know what I mean? You don't get anywhere as a unit or as a family by calling each other names. There is nowhere to go but down.
Isn't it like a what we call a below the belt move, right?
Right, and a lot of people don't even know where that comes from. It comes from boxing, where hitting below the belt is illegal.
Right.
And that's what you mean. Going below the belt is illegal. You can't do it, like fucking ever, unless it's by accident. You automatically lose the match.
You get a warning.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. We don't do that. And then if you do it again, point deducted.
Points. Right.
Then after that, you lose.
Getting demoted.
Yep. Yeah.
You go below the belt, that's a straight up demotion. And you get points taken away. That is one of the things that, for me, I love when you said that, because I never really, even though I know I don't like it, I never said it as a rule. And from that point on, when I heard you say that, I said, that's A1 a rule of being a part of my program. There is no talking down to each other. I'm not going to do it to you. You're not going to do it to me.
Do you know that since I made that rule, I've literally never had a problem with it? I want to share with our listeners.
Interesting.
I want to share to our listeners. Well, I'm just saying I've never had to dump somebody over it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I want to tell our listeners, when you believe something, when you saw how, like, I was like, I believe that you can't get anywhere as a family, little kids, dad's a jerk, or the wife, listen, asshole, all that shit. I believe just like I believe in gravity, you go nowhere but down as a family if you call each other names. When people observe you believing shit, well, even you're like, I'm adding that to my shit now. When people observe you believing shit, man, and if you truly believe it, you don't really have a hard time convincing them.
Not at all.
I've never had a hard time with women because
Did anybody challenge you on it and try to do it on the slick?
Actually, no. Yeah. I actually no, because they're just like, they see the look on my face when they do it.
That's
and
the
I'm
point.
Like,
that's what I was about to get at.
And I don't fucking respond tit for tat. People talk about, sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. No, motherfucker, you fight fire with water. Don't believe me? Go down to the fire station and ask them. Ask him about fighting fire with fire.
The goddamn fireman said, "Hey, how big is the fire? We don't need a lot more fire for this."
All right, get the flamethrower out. Get the flamethrower out.
I remember asking somebody about that, like, what does that mean? And I said, if you bring fire to a fire, is that going to be less fire or more fire?
Yeah, so I never go tit for tat. If they slipped up, it would be like, we don't do that here. And what they did respect was, I don't fucking call them names. It's not like, hey, asshole, listen, bitch.
Yeah.
If I call my wife a name, it is 100%, and I want, that's very important. It's 100% joking, playful. There's no element of truth. That's not, well, it's 99% joking, but it's kind of 1% serious. No. When it comes to name calling, because I'll call my wife bitch all the time, but it's always something that's funny. I'm like, bitch, what are you talking about? And it's a funny thing. I would never call anybody that I'm in a relationship with a name. It's just, you are now racing to the bottom. First it's name calling, then it's something else, then it's something else.
What women do, they attack you about something that you've confided in them about that's vulnerable, right?
Well, that they don't even have to do name calling for that.
It will go. Name calling opens the door to that, in my opinion. So if you say I won't take name calling at all, then you damn sure ain't gonna take hitting me on something that's vulnerable where I've confided in you or something, which I'm learning not to do.
Confide?
Yes. I'm learning not to confide in women that haven't earned the knowledge of knowing everything about me as far as, like, behind the door shit. You know what I mean?
That's what a lot of this podcast is about, too, is about figuring things out with your own internal dialogue.
Of course. It starts there, yeah.
We would never suggest anybody on this show use their spouse or someone in their rotation that they're dating as a therapist.
Oh, never.
It's guys, you need to understand it's unattractive. I want a man that shares his feelings. No, they don't. No, they don't, guys. What they want is a man that hangs out, has fun, hooks up. That's what they want. Every once in a while in life, especially if you're a wife, and every once in a while, like, your husband's father dies and they were close,
Yeah.
You gotta, there's always exceptions to rules, right? That's one where you just gotta be there for them, shit like that. But this whole thing with, I don't know where my career's going, and my boss doesn't understand me, and I don't even know why I got into pharmaceutical sales. It was just, I'm just doubting myself. Like, what did I want to get into this career for? I don't even, and just like, it's not attractive, guys. You look unsure to women.
She's like,
you look like you're losing your confidence. Now they're scared.
Right.
It's not a good deal,
no solid
guys.
footing. Even if you stayed in that job another 10 years, in that moment, she is very unsure about you because she don't know what you're going to do. She thought you were solid and you had resources and a career to grow into, but you're confiding in her that you're having some doubts because of your current circumstance. Mm-hmm. And maybe you grow out of it and something changes and you become better, but you are unnerving her at that point. You're
a Navy guy,
yeah.
Prior service Navy. I know you love those references, like how a boat is run.
Oh yes.
And even when the ship is going down, I'm assuming captain still needs to look like, hey, I know we got a hole in the ship,
right?
All right, we got something for this. We got the lifeboats. Like, they stay in charge. They're like, we always got a plan. We always got contingencies.
See, and being in the Navy,
you don't ever want to see the captain. I can't believe this.
You don't want him to
be like, they always shoot us with torpedoes. God, fucking Russians. God damn it.
Well, you damn sure don't want them to be
captain to cry.
Right. You damn sure don't want to see the captain crying or saying, "What do we do? I don't know what to do." And no. You want some, because actually in a actual Navy vessel, this is why there are compartments. Every time each section of the ship, there's multiple doors and compartments. That's why I used to like, why is this hallway got so many damn doors? But if we do get hit, the compartments of the door can be closed and keep the boat afloat, and we can just shut down that part of the ship that's damaged, and everything else can be saved on the ship. So you have that knowledge, right? You're like, look, I may be hurt, I may be damaged, but I'm not gonna tell the crew like, oh my gosh, we got hit. What's gonna happen? What happened if this happened? Well, what happened if that happened? See, women do that shit, but as a man, and even if a man, let's say you are in that mindset, you don't know what's gonna happen. You need to maintain course. Say, hey, I don't know what's gonna happen. I really don't, but this is our next step.
Yeah.
You complete that step, and then you say, okay, this is my next step. You don't have to have the answer for what's going to happen at the end. You just got to know what's next.
Yeah. And you also, and what I like about your analogy there, you also, when you're dealing with women in a relationship, they don't always have to know everything in your head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, you've got, all right, I've been a captain. There's all these contingencies. And for our analogy of when you get promoted to wife in my Navy, you're the executive officer of the boat. And the executive officer of the boat, because he's closest to the captain, needs to always realize it's easiest for me to question the captain because we have private conversations nobody knows about, but I have to have enough honor, and I have to be a good enough XO where I resist the temptation to do that. I have to support my captain, because me doubting my captain doesn't help this ship.
Because other people are listening, and when we talk about listening, you're talking about your kids, you're talking about other family members.
Right.
So if you're doubting or questioning the captain as an executive officer, and what does an executive officer actually mean? You execute the fucking orders of the captain. Mm-hmm. So you're not saying, well, I heard those orders, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually do that. That you're no longer an XO at this point. Right. Now you're a questioning officer.
You're a questioning officer.
You're not an executive officer. So you play your role, do your job. If you have a question, you do it in private.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, what were you thinking in that? And then he may reveal, say, hey, I had an epiphany at that moment. This is why I went against what we discussed earlier. and now we're doing this because now I have more information or new information than what we discussed earlier.
Whatever, Anthony. I want to be on a boat where everybody has 50-50 power.
Yeah. Good luck on that boat. I will get the fuck out. I will abandon that boat quickly.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before, but we've gone down this rabbit hole, so let's stay down it because I like the conversation we're having. I mean, that's why this is called the Red Pill Phone Tap. I mean, this is the real flow of the conversation we would have. And don't worry, we're still going to get to Anthony's great promotion and demotion segment. But what I want to point out to women that are naysayers, the woman that really wants the 50-50, okay? If you really get with a guy who gives you 50-50, something psychobiologically happens to you where you doubt, could I get a better guy? Let me give you an analogy, ladies. Let's say you married Idris Elba, the very handsome actor, right? Would you expect 50-50 if you married Idris Elba today? One of the probably most physically attractive men on the planet, right? Would you go into that like, all right, cool, you had this whole Hollywood career before I got here, but now that we're married, 50-50, motherfucker. 50-50.
Nah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nah.
If you married Dwayne Johnson tomorrow, would you expect 50-50? No. So when ladies have 50-50, because they think they want it, but when they really get it, they're like, I could get on a better boat of like a real captain who's really in charge.
Talking about what they say and what they really want.
And to be honest, guys, women are very out of touch with it.
Think about this though, Wesley. A man that has, that's running a company or multiple businesses, right? And it's a lot of work to do that. There's a lot of responsibility on your head. You're feeding other families, right? And if you, as a woman, say, hey, I want 50% of everything, and he say, well, 50% means that you got to put in this work to help me run this company. Now you're like, wait, that's not what I wanted.
Right.
Well, you say you wanted 50%. 50% is 50% of everything. Women, understand what you're asking for when you say that. So, because my thing is this, I don't want 50% of you. I want you to be 100% of who you are in your role.
Well,
that's what I want from you.
Let's go into a specific. Again, our favorite show, 90 Day Fiance.
Okay.
So this gentleman brings over this girl from Brazil. Is it?
I knew you was gonna go there.
Yeah. So they start talking about, as she calls them, prenuptial agreement. And to especially to our people listening overseas, we're making fun of her accent a little bit, but she had never even heard of a prenuptial agreement. And what this is it just says, whatever I came into the marriage with is mine. Whatever you came into the marriage with is yours. And if we get divorced, that's it. Now, what people don't talk about, because women get stuck on that. Well, how come I don't get it? Because you didn't fucking earn that money, bitch. It's real simple. Like, if you're really concerned about it, then you were never in this for the fucking long haul anyway, bitch.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Maybe some blue pill residue I had, but I was like, really, what does a prenup actually do when it comes to it? Because I think it's more of a deterrent than it actually gonna, because a judge can overrule you with a prenup.
Well, there's a whole movie that George Clooney's in that's a comedy, and it has the gal that's married to Michael Douglas is in Zorro.
Oh yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
But this lawyer who made like a bulletproof prenup.
Yeah.
Now, what we're talking about is a simple prenuptial agreement.
Okay.
What the modern prenuptial agreement looks like is the wife still gets something, and they usually spell it out. Okay. If you're with me for 10 years, you get this dollar amount.
Yeah.
If you have infidelity,
had one with his wife. Like, for so long, you'll get $1 million or something.
This much, you get this much.
Yeah.
But the man can still divorce you.
Right.
If you're fucking up.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah, but I wanted to stay for the $1 million clause. And Tom Cruise divorced Nicole Kidman a year before he would have had to pay her alimony. That's another famous one. But they're not getting along. He don't want to be with her. I mean, he don't want to be with her. I mean, what do you want to do? Is he a bad guy because he don't want to fucking be with her? I don't know. I wasn't there. But bottom line is he didn't want to be with her.
Yeah.
You can't negotiate desire, okay?
Facts.
So, but this guy is very blue pill on this show. I know he would have put in some clauses on, you know, hey, you're with me this long, you get this much money. You're with me this long, you get this much money. Infidelity, 0, you get 0. If I can prove it, So that's how these prenups are usually made. But women, as they often do, oversimplify in extreme language. They just think, hey, I get nothing. I usually get 50% of everything. I get nothing.
Do you remember how his face looked? He was pained. This guy was pained when he was explaining it. Like he didn't want to explain to her what it was. Like almost as if,
I love that you brought this up. This is why this rabbit hole type conversation is great. I'm serious, because watch where I go with this.
Okay.
He was pained to bring this up. Why? He didn't believe it. Yep. It's not like Wesley when it comes to we don't call each other names. Like, I believe it. I believe it like I fucking believe that the sky is blue, that gravity exists, that the moon rotates around the earth. I believe it. He didn't believe it. He was kind of, well, Patrice O'Neill says, when you call your wife or girlfriend bitch, again, jokingly,
right?
When you say, well, no, bitch, you have to like own it. You're like,
you have to
oh my God, bitch, are you crazy?
Right.
And it has to be like you own it. It can't be like, yeah, why don't you go make me a sandwich? Bitch. Right? It can't be.
Bitch.
Bitch. Like, you have to own it. And when he was talking about the
prenup... Bitch, can't make me a sandwich. Shit.
But when he's talking about the prenuptial agreement, he's being like... He's trying to, like, slide something past her. She can feel the energy. Yes, if he'd have been like, no, look.
This is how we do it.
I got 2 kids. Right. You can go back to Brazil. Or you can get married. As long as you're with me, you get this nice fucking life.
Well, she already stole a car.
Yeah, well, yeah. She already did some questionable shit. But, well, she bought herself a car on his credit card.
Yeah.
So,
to me, it seemed like you stole money.
But he didn't own it. And here's the part that I want to get to, because I'm talking about where you were like, hey, if you want 50% of this company, you got to come work in this company and shit. So the gal asks him, she says, hey, did you and your ex-wife have a prenup? And he goes, no.
We didn't have shit.
We didn't have shit. So everything that we built, my ex-wife we built that shit together, bitch. So, of course, we had to split shit up. You're just coming into a fucking turnkey marriage, bitch. What the... You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
I remember when
I'm serious. But, Anthony, answer me the question. Why does she think she's just fucking entitled?
Because she's
just a fucking beautiful woman.
Right. She
God
exists.
Damn it.
She has given up vagina, right? So she is deserving of some shit, I guess. But we talked about her being a model, and the lady actually questioned, like, well, how much money do you have? And she was like, well, I don't have nothing.
I have nothing, but I'm entitled
to your money
because I give out my vagina.
See,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, we talked about this a second ago. If you ask a woman what skills she has to get a man,
vagina.
No, they won't say that, but they'll kind of be dumbfounded. Do as an exercise, fellas.
What did Patrice O'Neill say about the vagina?
That's where I'm going. You know that's where I'm going. All right, so as an exercise, fellas, ask women this. Ask them, because Patrice O'Neill did this. Okay, you had a terrible train accident and they had to amputate your vagina. Now, what would you do to get a man?
Wait, he said give you enough time to be like, I can't break up with you because your vagina's gone.
Right.
He's like, it'll give you 30 days.
But eventually, like, you gotta like learn a different skill other than your vagina,
right,
to get a man or keep a man in this case. So what would you do? On Patrice O'Neal's show, the Black Phillip podcast, the women that were there automatically were like, well, I mean, that's not the only hole I got. He was like, oh, so you'd suck a lot more dick? She's like, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, if I got no vagina, I mean, there's another hole too. He's like, oh, so blowjobs and anal is the only two ways. He goes, bitch, I was waiting for y'all to be like, well, I'd try to learn more about sports or like get good at video games. You know, but you women, reduced yourself to holes.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. It is the truth serum. He gave that audience a truth serum, and that's what they provided because women know what their value to men is.
Yeah, it's just like they could be more though,
and it's not men who said it.
Yeah, it was
women. Women said this shit, right?
Patrice O'Neal was literally surprised in real time. He goes, man, I thought y'all were going to say learn more about sports or get really good at video games.
He said learn how to tell stories. Because women are the best at telling stories, right?
Dude.
Come on.
Oh, my God.
They give you 30 minutes of how their day started before they get to the fucking climax of the fucking story.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I was, no BS, this week, I was telling my wife a story, and I was telling her about, because I got friend zoned so severely in high school, for 3 years of high school, this bitch would get drunk, especially like after I got really going good with a girlfriend, and if this girl was like same level looks wise as her, my friend zone companion, this girl that I was just gaga over, because I'm young, I'm in high school.
She knew it too.
Oh, and she knew it. She knew she could have me at any time, right?
Yeah.
But if I started getting really, really good with a girl, she would get drunk, and I'm using air quotes. She would get drunk and call me, but I don't know, I just feel like we'd be the best couple ever. And so after high school, because she put me through this terrible friend zone boot camp for 3 years, I never got in friend zone for the rest of my life, ever again. Because I was constantly, when it came to women, I was constantly putting sexual energy out there. But it didn't stop women from trying to friend zone me. It didn't stop that at all. Okay. And one of the things girls will do, and this is Rollo Tomasi on his recent podcast with Donovan Sharp. He talks about when a girl friend zones you, it's not just friend zone and just stay there. Now it's your responsibility as a guy to keep this friendship going, or you're a jerk. Why don't you want to be my friend? Why don't you want to be my friend? And this is like decades before the red pill. I became very comfortable. I was accidentally doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, I became very comfortable with like, yeah, I already got friends, and my guy friends are way more interesting than you. So if I'm just going to hang out with someone and not have sex,
right? My
male friends are just far more, they're better storytellers, to your point, Anthony.
Right.
They're way better storytellers. I don't have to explain sports to them. Like, we're just watching the same sports soap opera for the last decade together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't have to be like, oh, honey, this is Randy Moss, number 80 out there. Yeah, that's Randy Moss. He is really fast too. I mean, he can really run fast. Anyways, so he's the receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, but then he went to the Raiders, and oh my God, then the New England Patriots picked him up, and hashtag career revival. Hello, dude. I can't live my life like that.
Yeah.
So I was telling my wife about that. I was telling her, like, no, man, I would just tell women to their face, like, oh, cool. I wasn't looking for you as a friend, because you would never pass that test. I was looking for you. So if we ain't fucking, I'm gonna be over here with somebody else. I'm gonna be fucking. Like, yeah. So it's what I'm trying to say is it's not really inaccurate to say that women's only way to get men is vagina. They certainly don't like make themselves more interesting and learn shit that men like.
Yeah, it's definitely part of the package, man. You can't just bring your personality to the table.
But every once in a while, there is a woman that's. I mean, we talked about this last week, right?
Yeah.
You'll be on a date, be like, man, it was the gal that you went on a date with.
Yeah.
That said, what do you consider? What was your question? What do you consider friendships?
Right.
Like,
what does being a friend in your life look like?
And she had this amazing answer,
right, about having. That she hold her friends accountable and they hold her accountable.
Yeah, it was a really cool answer. But those women are anomalies.
Very, very.
I mean, those women are the more beautiful they get to oh man,
the less, because no man is out there holding a woman that's beautiful.
They're certainly not holding them to the same standards. Yes, I mean, you beat me to it.
Like it's like, well, I ain't gotta, because what do we do as men? We talked about this last week too. Like we give women passes that are beautiful, that are gorgeous, passes because it's like, okay, she's a little bitchy, she's a little clingy, but fuck, I get to have access to this vagina, right? So I'm gonna deal with this, but that it doesn't last long. You're not marrying her. You're not marrying her, right? There. Remember, I don't know if you ever seen this guy who had this chart where he was like. The hot woman versus the crazy woman. There was like this perfect little section of,
and it was really, hot really and crazy. Well. Look that up on YouTube. What is it called? The hotness scale or something?
Yeah, like, well, what's the wife? Like, well, she could be a wife if she's over a certain grade of hotness and a certain grade of crazy, right? And you like the crazy hot girls are like. Strippers and like he did a great job explaining that.
By the way, I just looked this up for our listeners, Anthony. It's called The Woman Chart and it's by Ken Boudreaux. It's really, really funny. I want to see how many views it has.
Oh, I'm sure it's millions, bro. Millions.
It's less than you think.
What?
This must not be the original video.
Yeah, I was about to say it must not be his.
Only 335,000 views.
No, I know that's not
hopefully
accurate.
We help Ken Boudreaux get his viewers up.
Is that his?
That's what I want to find out. It's probably not his.
Right.
It's not. Oh, thank God. I'm like, I hope this touched more people than,
That's in the millions, 100% in the millions.
Yeah. Ken Boudreaux did post it, but it's one of those things where, and I'm trying to find it for our listeners.
Hot and Crazy Matrix.
1.1 million views. There we go.
There we go.
And that's by Jorge Pacheco.
I'm not sure, man. YouTube always has this.
Where you got guys sharing, and good on them for sharing it. But it's a Hot and Crazy Matrix. Yeah. I wish we could give credit to the original poster. Yeah. But one person that posted it has got 1.1 million views, so I think Anthony's right. It's probably millions and millions of views by now.
Because it's so solid, man. It has a lot of truths in it, and it's funny. And it's funny because it's true, right? So definitely, if you haven't seen that, definitely look that up and enjoy.
Yeah, and you know what? And I want guys, before you get mad at women for being hot and crazy, ask yourself this. If you just woke up and your body looked like Thor no matter what you ate, wouldn't you just eat donuts every day and shit?
Probably,
like you don't have to do much to work towards anything.
Analogy. I like that.
I mean, it didn't matter what I eat. I just look like Chris Helmsworth in Thor Part 1.
You can get away with it.
Yeah, because you can get away with shit. The real rarity is when you have a woman that's gorgeous, but she's kind of fucking cool too. You know what I mean? Like, who's that girl from Sin City, Anthony? Well, I don't know. Scarlett Johansson's kind of like that. Whenever you see her interviewed, everyone can agree Scarlett Johansson is as hot can be. You know, I can't see a flaw in her. Looking up Sin City now. Rosario Dawson, before it even came up, I remember. Rosario Dawson is one of those. Yeah, some people would say she's not on the same level as like the hottest of the hot, but
she's hot, I think she's because gorgeous. Of
her personality.
Exactly. Her femininity shines through, man. So much. I've never seen her not feminine.
Yeah, but you know what? If you asked her that, she would disagree with you.
Really?
But you know what? Yeah. And so I have and this couple you know very well. I have very close with this couple, and the wife thinks that she is just the, you know, name the biggest feminist activist out there, right? But what she doesn't realize is her husband is really dominant, and she very much concedes to him. So even though in her mind she's like, and this is how we do it, and it's 50-50, and it's like, wow, this guy really, that's not what I see. I see this woman completely turn over all the finances, everything but the decision making with the children.
Okay.
Where, you know, we live in this society, and we'll visit this one day on this program, because I've had some personal experiences with some doctors. We live in the society now where people act like the mother knows best when it comes to kids, and men are almost kind of disposable. So that's the only thing. Yeah, and Anthony, we're going to have that topic. That's going to be a long segment for us one day.
Yeah,
because I've had some experiences.
Just not true.
When I go to the doctor, they're not saying a lot to me. Even when I ask questions, they won't look me in the eye. They're just making sure, is mom comfortable? Oh, it's like I don't want to get derailed, because I can easily get derailed on that topic, because it just happened recently with a male doctor. I thought because we were dealing with a female doctor. Yeah. But other than the whole children thing.
That blue pill life.
Oh, man. Yeah. Other than the children thing, you know, she is very, very much the colonel and he's the general. You know what I'm saying? But she doesn't realize it. And it's not something he's consciously doing. This is another thing, guys, I want to point out. When you're a male that's really physically large, you don't notice people are kind of conceding to you.
Yeah, men and women.
Yeah, men and women, especially men, because men are like, this could get physical at any time, and I don't know how I'm going to deal with all this strength and power.
Right.
If you're a big guy, you're probably, unless you're just really soft, and I don't mean big guys like fat guys, but
yeah, just,
you know what's that show, Robin Big, right? You know, like Big was just like a giant human. You don't realize that the rest of the world is reacting to you differently. Just because they're kind of fucking scared. You know what I mean? So the person that we're talking about, his spouse probably doesn't realize she's conceding to him, because it's very much like he's a larger person. He's a giant, you know. If he was a woman, we'd call him Amazon. Like, very tall, just a fucking giant amongst men. But it's one of those things where sometimes ignorance is bliss. You know, that's certainly not a two people that I would say are red pill, you know, aware. They're very much, and I think, and the reason I brought that up is because I think Rosario Dawson's like that. She thinks that she's this big time feminist activist. The reason I say that, I follow her on Instagram.
Are you saying Rosario Dawson thinks she's a big time feminist?
100%. I follow her on Instagram.
Okay.
But to your point, whenever you see her interviewed, she's just the coolest, go with the flow person.
Even when she plays movie roles, like, when she
gets in character. Yeah, I mean.
So you think that's a fake characteristic?
Well, they're all faking, right? I mean, all actors are faking.
Acting is what it is, yeah.
And also what I've observed with actors that really do acting well, they'll sit there and they'll look at the paper and they'll be like, who is this person? And they take a lot of pride in becoming that person. That's the good actors.
Man, you're fucking up my mind of who Rosario Dawson is now. Like, I'm going to have to do research.
You're going to have to go to look at her Instagram. I know it's disappointing.
Fuck, man.
But again, I compare her to the wife I was talking about, where naturally one-on-one she's just that cool chick, because I've never caught her slipping. Anytime I see her interviewed, she's just that cool chick that you would love to hang out with. But when you follow her on Instagram, it's a lot of wage gap, a lot of feminist fuckery. You know, she doesn't realize she's feeding a machine that she's really doesn't love that much. Because I'm talking about how she acts.
Okay.
But in Hollywood, though, now we're talking about something different, because people that work in Hollywood, they all got to be on that feminist train leaving the station. They can't say anything conservative at all. I mean, that whole Hollywood scene, the further left you can go politically, the better it is for your career. Well, could you imagine being in a career, Anthony, where you have to have a certain, well, we were in a career where you had to have a certain political view. You dare not be Democrat and be in the armed forces.
Oh, well.
Not allowed.
I don't know if it was not allowed. I'm just saying it was probably not popular.
You'd be, but I mean, in a world where you're trying to get promoted and trying to get ahead in the armed forces, you're probably not going to be openly Democrat.
Well, not even the HVAC industry we were in. You
right.
were definitely not liberal.
Right.
Progressive. So,
but we were, but you and I were liberal and progressive. We just didn't say anything.
You just can't, you can't say the silent part out loud.
also, but in Hollywood, you can't do that. You've got to be, you can't just be left. You got to be open and loud left.
You got to outdo the most left part. And so where you get extreme circumstances where it's like, now that shit don't even make sense.
Right.
You so left, you don't even make sense now. So, I don't want to go because we deviated so far.
You know what? But I don't mind. It's our last podcast of the year, and we're about to go into a great segment. I mean, words no longer having meaning. I appreciate that segment, but we touch on that a lot. Yeah. And anytime we can kind of give some specific dating stuff to our people out there in the world, I don't want the show to be so regimented that we can't, if we're going down a lane that we think is going to help people. I want us to freely and openly communicate it, and you know that's how our phone conversations go a lot of time.
100. I just didn't want to because I was about to go into the whole different. I was like,
well, it was hard for me not to go into how I was treated by my doctor recently. That really, really got under my skin. I don't know. I know we have people listening overseas, but in the United States, just spoiler alert, doctors aren't like, they're not cheap here. So to give someone loads of money and then just have them kind of look at you and ignore you up and down and whatever. No one cares what the dad's thinking. Jesus. And if I bring this up, because I did bring this up to somebody before, they wanted to act like that's not the experience I had because I'm clearly wrong, even though they weren't there.
That's so American.
Oh, 100%.
And I know
just
that was
like
a
the
woman.
experience I'm having.
I know it was a woman.
Oh, it was. Just like the experience I'm having with Natalie Merchant right now is that she's not physically beautiful. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. She is so beautiful.
Don't believe your lying eyes.
No, I was even further in this specific story. Like I said, we'll have a segment over it in the future. But he also wanted to bring up how I had a coffee mug with my favorite Houston Astros decaled all over the mug. And he brought up like, oh, your team that was cheating. Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, they'll send you like 5 fucking bills for shit you didn't even do. Then it's your job to contest. Right, that didn't happen, so it doesn't go on your credit report. And who are they going to believe, a hospital or you? And at the end of the day, you still lose because you lose time contesting it. Yeah, but now it's in a whole new world where as long as the woman's happy, I can just fucking flick mud and dirt, and especially a white male in America, because you're just allowed to just fucking spit in a white male's face now, because who cares, you know? As long as you can make yourself look like you're supporting a minority or an underdog or something like that, you can flick all the mud in a white man's face as much as you want. But we'll talk about that on another segment. Let's get to the most innovative part of this show. This is something I have not read in any book, any dating book, any of the high-level dating books that you and I talk about a lot on this show. This is something Anthony came up with innovatively on his own. And this deals with promoting and demoting women in your rotation.
Yeah, I remember that specifically. You were explaining to me about, you was like, hey, this chick did something wrong. I got to get rid of her, right? And I immediately was like, well, no.
Yeah, I was like, I'm tired of playing these games with this bitch. Damn it.
And it's like, no, you don't cut her off. I mean, you can put her on a bench.
Right.
And I wasn't, and I don't think demotion was the word I was using at the time, but it definitely is the best way to explain it now. Mm-hmm. And I was giving you more advice on, she just doesn't get your time the way she was getting your time. And if she's like, well, we don't hang out, you know, it's like, yeah, I got this going on and that going on.
Oh, important. Important. So hold on. So Anthony, you're telling me that when you start spending less time with a woman, you don't sit down and have a long talk with her about why you're no longer spending time?
Hell no. There's not a... This is like when you are teaching... Oh, here we go. The emails will come. But when you're teaching a dog that, hey, you don't pee in the house, you don't wait the next day to teach the dog about peeing in the house.
Wait a second, Anthony. So you're saying all women are dogs?
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
you can already hear.
But the thing is...
No, we're not talking about women. We're trying to give you an analogy.
Immediately after the action is taken, you immediately react, and that's how you deal with it. You don't just let the activity go, and then you just say, you know what? I didn't like that. Now, what you do is say, hey, you did something. I didn't like it. And you immediately give that demotion. You immediately put her on the bench. And she gets less time. Because that's our currency with women when it comes to the male and female dynamic in our social interactions. We want physical contact with women, and they want our time.
Right.
That's the exchange.
That is why friend zone is what it is. Friend zone is, I get your time, whatever that is. If you're helping her rearrange the living room or moving heavy shit for her, or you're talking to her on the phone about the guy she's dating, and you got to sit there and listen. So she's getting your time without giving you anything in return, which, like you said, the currency to men is physical contact, touching, holding, kissing, having sex, etc.
Right.
Yeah. That's what's really important to men. And guys, don't send me your fucking blue pill emails. Not me. I really value a woman's mind. And we all value women's mind, motherfuckers. But we're talking about the real currency that is exchanging. It's time versus physical touch. But I want to, I feel like Anthony's being a little too kind to me. Because, I mean, Anthony, if Anthony is anything, he's a very nice person. Okay. Sometimes way more nice than I would be. So let me help Anthony out. So this was very much during my red pill
initiation,
my ascension into red pill life. I was a serial monogamist. And one of the things that I always thought I was in when I was dating is I kind of, in my mind, it was always like, we're in this relationship, even if I'm not calling it a relationship, but I would be dating one girl at a time. So how could I know that this is good for me if this is first of all, A, the only place I'm getting sex from, B, the only female attention I'm allowing into my life, and C, this is fucking stupid. Like, dating means you're dating many people.
ING.
But I always kind of felt like if things weren't going the way I wanted them to go, I would kind of compare them to relationships where I would be very much like, there's got to be some dramatic sit-down talk, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I want out of this and what you're doing wrong.
Right.
And blah, 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 blah,
you're
blah.
going to correct yourself. And
Yeah. So the reason Anthony uses the analogy of like training a dog, because first of all, that is something that we train in life. It's the most common pet, you know. The most common pet is not having a fucking scorpion in an aquarium, okay? So this is the most common pet. A lot of people have trained dogs, so a lot of people can understand this analogy. It's not calling women dogs. Listen, ladies, you don't get to say that we're calling women dogs and then not listen to the knowledge we're fucking dropping in this segment, okay? Yeah, I know, because you don't really know much about rational discussions. You just get to attack what we're saying, and you don't listen to the point, okay? And in 2020, we're not doing that anymore. We're not adjusting our language for ladies.
Never.
We're just going to talk how the fuck we talk.
Exactly.
So when you are trying to, let's not call it training, okay? Let's just call it when you are trying to teach a dog how to cohabitate with you.
Okay.
One of the standards.
Look at you being nice with your words.
Well, it is training, but what are we really doing? The overall communication is.
We're interacting. We're social animals.
Here go my life. Go my life. You could be part of my life, but if we're going to cohabitate, there's got to be some basic shit. You can't just defecate on my shit, including my house.
Yeah.
You got to defecate out fucking side, and then we got to scoop up the turds with a shovel, and then we got to put it in a bag and put it in the trash. This is how we cohabitate together. But the reason Anthony likes using that analogy, I think, at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony, is because you and dogs can't speak with language.
Exactly.
You speak with actions only.
Exactly.
So he does the action of defecating. You can't go over to the dog and be like, hey, look, dude, we talked about this defecating on my carpet shit. Okay, first of all, I got to explain to you what money is. Okay, so money. So this carpet costs a lot of money. And then I go to work every day. When I'm gone most of the day, that's because I'm out at a job trying to get money. Now, there's carpet cleaners, or I might have to get new carpet if you defecate on this enough. And you can't explain that to a dog.
No.
You can't. No. Okay? They don't fucking get it. Similarly, if you have these long, drawn-out talks with women, they don't understand that shit either.
Well, she's going to manipulate everything you say because she don't like what she's hearing.
Right.
So she's going to change and try to reframe it and make it about something that is not about.
But what about men? When men defecate on the carpet? All right, man. All right, look, dude.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's just like, no. The only thing the dog understands is when I defecate on the carpet, here come punishment. That's all they understand. They're like, and then dogs are very, very smart creatures, and they're like, okay, hold on. Over time, I'm connecting. Every time I shit outside, I'm praised. Hold on, I'm putting things together. But every time I shit inside, it's lightning and thunder coming down on me. Right. Hold on, I'm starting to put things together. I gotta shit outside. Oh, shit. Okay. And then on to the next thing. Every time I chew on one of his dress shoes, thunder and lightning and spanking and thrown outside on a leash, every time I just play outside and run around, it's fun and we're having a good... Oh, don't chew on the shoes. Only run around outside, not inside. And they start putting it together. Women, when you talk to them, they're guys, it's arguing with women is pointless. If you find yourself in an argument with a woman, you're wrong.
Yeah, stop.
You're wrong.
Stop immediately.
Women, it's way easier to communicate with women with actions and not words. I have a friend. I have a friend who gets upset that his wife doesn't wash dishes. He never sits down and has the conversation with her. Bitch, how come you don't wash dishes? What the fuck is good? You see the dirty fucking dishes? What the fuck? No, what he does is he gets very quiet. He stops everything he's fucking doing, and he goes in there and washes the dishes. Let me tell you, it makes this woman very uncomfortable. Well, I mean, I was going to get to the dishes, and he doesn't say a word. He just, and it's that communication through action where it's like, no, I have to stop what I'm doing and do the dishes because I can't count on you. I can't count on you. And I'm not going to say anything. No. I'm not going to say anything.
The actions are implied.
Yeah.
And the thing is, she's not going to get better by you arguing with her about
Never.
it.
Never.
She's not.
Nope.
She's going to justify it, and then she's going to say that the argument that you're having is making her emotionally pained. Like, you're causing even more hurt to her by what you're saying to her.
You beat me to it. When you argue with a woman, spoiler alert, how this movie ends every time. You're mean. Yeah. That's how it ends. Every time. 100%. There is no winning. You're mean. But wait. You murdered my father in front of me with a gun. Yeah, but you made me feel bad about it, though. I mean, sometimes people murder people, but how come you made me feel bad about? I mean, it makes no sense to argue with women. Makes no sense. You communicate with women when you do not approve of what they're doing with your actions. So Anthony pointed out to me, he's like, dude, you don't have some big knockdown drag out. You don't have some big discussion. You're just not available moving forward. Now, does that mean I'm having this conversation? No, I'm not available to you because I don't approve. No. That's arguments, guys. Yeah. That's arguments. You now have less time because you're not acting correct. You're not acting in a way, and I said we're not going to adjust our language, and watch, I'm fucking doing it. You're not acting in a way where we can cohabitate. You know? And eventually, if a dog just can't get that they can't shit in your house, what happens? The dog gets fired as the pet. Yeah. Like eventually, there's a timeline, you know. I remember when I was working in restaurants early in my career.
Well, if you live in an apartment, you can't put the dog outside. So
right.
You got to get rid of the dog.
So it's a smaller timeline. When I first started working in restaurants, shout out to a manager I had in the past, Sean Burnett. Sean Burnett told me, he goes, dude, the things you do in restaurants are extremely hard. And so you're going to constantly be finding yourself in a situation, I got to get good at this before I get fired. You know, the first time you work the grill at Outback Steakhouse, you're going to suck at it. But you're given an allotment of time, you know. We'll only work you on Mondays and Tuesdays. We're not going to start you out on a Friday and Saturday, right? Until you get good at this. Now, eventually, though, and who knows what the window is, but you're only given this amount of time until it's like, okay, you didn't get good enough fast enough, you're fired. Right. And that's how it is with dogs. You have to learn the rules of cohabitating with me and what the rules of my house are, or eventually you get fired. It's very similar with women because you communicate with them through actions. It's very, very similar. You're not having these big knockdown, drag out fights. You're just saying, well, you haven't gone up to cohabitation, assimilation yet. There's going to be less time. I'm going to now bring other candidates in to see if we can better cohabitate now. And we've talked about this on the podcast before. You want to always have a healthy rotation. If you're not in a relationship and you're dating, we're not suggesting you cheat on women. If you're in a relationship,
correct.
If you're just dating, you need to have a rotation of 5 different women so that you can properly vet them. Having exposure to dating other women is going to allow you to vet the other 4 women a lot better, because you can start to compare and contrast.
Man, it is so important. I don't want you to brush over that too quickly, because I know women out there are going to quickly be, and some men, because we got a lot of simps out there, they're going to be like, hey, if you're going to date someone, you got to give them a chance to prove themselves to you.
We are.
Well, how
but
can
we
I
are.
know? And I know, but they want exclusivity, and they haven't earned it. You're still a stranger to me. I don't know what exactly. And let's say this, and I'll say this about for the let's think about this for the perspective of a man who was been in a relationship with one person, and now he's available to date whoever he wants. When you're changing, when you're coming out of a relationship and you're giving yourself enough time to heal and know what you want later on, you have to say, what do I want out here to the crop of women that's available to me now?
Right. Keyword crop.
Exactly.
Yeah. Crop means many, many plants that are growing vegetables.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't go out here and date one woman and think that's all the woman, think this woman and the way she acts, the way she talks, the way she moves, and then you just correlate that, well, this is all the type of women that are out here. You have to get a nice little different group of women that to expose yourself to say, oh, I like this about what she does. She's very feminine. Every time I see her, she's in a dress. She's made up. And then the next chick you go, she wears ball caps and tennis shoes and basketball shorts. She talks like a dude, tells dirty jokes, farts and burps, right?
Yeah, that's the kind of woman you want to have kids with, right? Right. Jesus Christ.
So you're like you got your access to all these different type of women. You need to decide what type of woman you actually want to pursue.
Sidebar from our last segment, though, about words not meaning anything. Part of me feels like when you said you just gave the example of the worst type of gal, won't fix herself up femininely, her looks, tells dirty jokes, farts and burps, shit like that. I can already hear women listening to this podcast and going, yeah, but there might be something beautiful about her. I'm starting to learn, in women's eyes, there are no ugly fucking people unless they're murderers or rapists. There are no ugly fucking people. Everybody gets a chance, Anthony. It doesn't matter how bad you described that person. They'd be like, well, I mean, ball caps can be fun though. I love wearing a ball cap when I go to an Astros game, and I know, bitch. I know. But yeah, it's just kind of I feel like it's easy for us to be insensitive because we're vetting women.
You gotta
we're arrogant or something.
No way, man. Listen,
in a world where 50% of marriages end in divorce, we're mean because we're vetting bitches.
Not
right?
At all. That is the woman that's looking to take advantage of you. If she's upset with you, vetting or
they want to fix the game where every woman gets a trophy. I mean, husband.
Yeah.
That's where they want to fix the game to where every woman wins.
Everyone's not deserving. You got to understand what comes with that. When you talk about a husband, I mean,
would it be, and I'm sorry to interrupt, Anthony, but I'm very emotional about this topic. Would it be insensitive for a woman to sit here and talk about what a man needs to do to earn his way into her life? No. But the minute we say the same motherfucking shit, we are insensitive.
You get the arms
crossed arms. Yeah. Crossed arms.
Scowl look.
And then we get them to uncross their arms when we do this. So is this the kind of woman you would want your son to date?
True, son.
And then all of a sudden, oh shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's because it takes them, finally, it's the only time women can step outside of themselves is when you talk about their kids. It's the only fucking time. You know, it's the only goddamn time. So for us to sit here and talk about vetting women, it makes us very insensitive. But women nonstop do it on every goddamn View show or what's Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett show and Willow show. Like
table.
All they do is sit around dog on men and talk about how they're not good enough. And the topic I'm emotional about, Anthony, is it seems like women are always in a state of are. Who they are is just good enough.
Never.
It's just who they are is just good enough. Men are in a state of need to become. We need to become good enough for them. But they never have to change shit about themselves to the arrogance that some women will say, it doesn't matter if you're 300 pounds. You're good enough. You're beautiful the way you are, girl. Ball caps, dirty jokes, burping and farting on dates.
Lizzo.
You are still beautiful. You are still beautiful.
You seen that Lizzo video?
I haven't. You told me about it.
Oh my God, that is exactly what you're talking about. This fat, and I said fat, she's not attractive. I don't care what anybody out there has to say about her being attractive. She's not attractive. Lizzo is a circle of a human being. And for her to expose herself the way she exposed herself, people with good bodies don't expose themselves the way she exposed herself.
God. I'm just looking up these pictures of her where she has this is not good, man.
No,
yeah, she's fat.
She's fat.
She's fat, dude.
She's not.
So what? We're insensitive because she's fat? I didn't fucking eat all that food and put it in her body. Like, what is going on? What is the world we're living in where she's not fat? She's clearly fat.
She's obese. So
if she's not fat, who is fat?
Right.
Again, talking about words not meaning shit.
Words don't matter anymore. Like, you can't call her fat.
Why not? So we're just not allowed to call her fat.
Her forearm is fat. Her fucking elbow is fat. Look at that shit. Her elbow is fat. I don't even have to tell you. If her elbow is fat, you know her neck is fat. Her fucking wrists are fat. Her thighs are fat. Her knees are fat. Her cankles are fat. Like,
what is
the
gal's name from Mean Girls that has that amazing voice? I'm not Mean Girls. Dream Girls with Beyonce.
Oh, I didn't see that movie.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm not a Beyonce fan, man.
No, but it was Dream Girls. I think it got nominated for an Oscar. It's a great movie.
You got to understand, man. I'm not a Beyonce fan. That means that I don't like Beyonce. So I'm not part of the
That is blasphemous in this part of the world, my friend.
I know, man. In Houston, I know.
You're not a Beyonce fan? That makes one of us.
I'm not a Beehive.
That makes one of us.
Yeah, I know, man. I
love Beyonce.
I know who she was before she became famous, so I have a different perspective of who she
Jennifer Hudson.
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer Hudson used to be fat.
Yeah. And she knew it. And you know what she did? She lost weight.
And it's very controversial. Women are very slow to give her credit, right?
I never heard women give her credit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because, man, we're bringing up pictures online. That's why the pause in the broadcast here. She's beautiful, dude.
And you know,
look at her. She's beautiful.
She married a bodybuilder.
Oh, and that's why she got in shape?
And she got in shape from him.
God, look at her. She's
he
beautiful.
Was on the WWE.
Look at her with her Halle Berry hairdo here from Boomerang.
She's
beautiful.
She looked way better with how she looked before. And she knows it. And she,
Whoa, she looks better than how she looked before? Is that what you said?
yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, look at the before and afters. Look at her face. God.
Was she
Who
ugly?
knew she was this beautiful?
Was she ugly before she lost the weight? There you go. That's her ex-husband. I think now they're ex. Guess what happens? Oh my gosh. Wesley, I'm glad you just put that up. She was fat when she married this guy. He helped her get better and more attractive, and now they're divorced.
Well, I mean, that could be oversimplifying, though.
Wait,
if we're being fair to all parties.
I wasn't there in their marriage. I wasn't there in their marriage. But
she left him?
But she left him. The reason that we talk about with this, women, if you accept a woman at her worst and she becomes better, she don't see you as higher.
Yeah, and Anthony, but we've talked about this on the podcast before. And again, to me and you, we don't even get offended by that. Because
hypergamy, yeah.
Well, also, men need to understand that women do not give you credit for sacrificing.
No.
Like, in general.
They don't give you credit
you and I have accepted it as, like law of gravity. Like, we're not mad at the law of gravity when we fall off the steps or some shit.
Understand it exists.
Yeah, it's just, women do not. This is why men should always follow their dreams, not their women's dreams.
Oh my God!
Is because women don't care if you sacrifice. They don't give you credit. Like they just don't, guys. Guys, that's not us dogging on women. It's just they don't really. They just accept it like silverware at a restaurant. They're just like they don't give the restaurant credit for having silverware.
I don't understand.
It's like, well, yeah, men are supposed to sacrifice for me. So don't sacrifice for them is what we're saying. If you're not going to get any kind of reward, I mean, guys, let's be honest. We as humans live on a reward system. We do things because it gives us some kind of reward. Like, I sacrifice things for my daughter, but let's be honest. My reward, I love when my daughter's happy. I love it. That's my reward. You know, women don't give you rewards for sacrifice, guys. They just don't. They just expect.
Well, that you were supposed to.
Yeah. So don't sacrifice for them.
Right.
But my wife's happiness to me is paramount. Yeah, but that's not your kid, and you're building up, and this is not your wife's fault or your girlfriend's fault or the girl you're dating. If you go into this knowing that women do not give you credit for sacrificing, then you're not allowed to get mad at them when they don't give you credit. Okay? This is what part of the red pill is about, guys. You got to digest this and understand you're not allowed, like Miss Hudson here, he got her all in shape, taught her how to weight lift, all this, and then she left him. You don't get credit for that shit, man. Like... That's not the way it works. You get credit for sacrificing with your guy friends. Yeah, your guy friends will be like, you know what? Nah, everybody's turning their back on my buddy Wesley. But I remember back in the day when I was down on my luck, that motherfucker didn't. No. We got to be there for each other. That's how men think. And that's why we think women think like that.
Nope.
That ain't how women think, fellas. I'm sorry, guys. When we were cavemen long ago, women were acting on safety, like physical fucking safety. Like if a tribe come and took over your tribe, you had to assimilate to the new tribe quickly because women could assimilate. They'd kill all the fucking male warriors.
Yeah.
But you couldn't be singing the songs of yesteryear about your old husband and your old kids that got killed. And
nope.
You had to assimilate quickly. It's a survival technique. If you guys enjoy the study of human behavior like Anthony and I do. This is women are not loyalty was not something that helped women survive back in primordial days. That wasn't something that was it was advantageous to men, especially soldiers.
Which is why a guy is looking at a woman is like, how she get over me so quickly?
Yeah, she broke up with you a year before y'all broke up. She was looking for the next male orbiters. But I don't want to get too off topic on this because I think this is important for our listeners, Anthony.
Yeah.
You told me, you were like, look, you ain't got to have like some big, long, drawn out thing. And I'm like, and I'm sorry, bringing this back to our listeners. I was telling Anthony that a girl I was dating was making me unhappy. And at the time, I believe I was only dating 3 women. But I was giving most of my time to this particular girl. Because she was the most physically attractive. She didn't earn it.
Okay.
I wasn't being smart.
Well,
there is
a internal ranking you give each woman you're dealing with, right? So
and most times we default on which girl's more physically attractive.
Right.
To be honest.
Right.
Because we're running on soft. It's because men are shallow. All they care about is looks. No, motherfucker. We're humans. And when we are looking at reproductive situations, we want to find the most attractive physical fucking traits to pass on to our offspring. It's not because men ain't shit. It ain't because men are shallow.
Women do the same shit.
Women do the same shit when it comes to resources. They want to pass on to their offspring the safest resource setting.
Right.
Okay? Well, that's different. That's a different rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Well, they also... That's the alpha fucks and beta bucks. What they ideally would love to do was fuck the alpha male and then make the beta male that has all the money take care of the alpha male's kids.
Call that double dipping.
But we digress. Yeah. So I had this girl ranked as, the one that I wanted to spend the most time with, and she had not earned it. She was just the physically most attractive and wasn't even the best girl in the bedroom. And I was like, I'm sick and tired of this. She doesn't return my calls, whatever it was. I don't remember the specifics. And I'm like, I'm about to have the talk with her, Anthony. She either needs to get on board or she needs to get down the road and blah, 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 And now that I'm wiser and I'm older and know more about, human behavior, she was probably, talking to other dudes, and that was taking up her time. And she was doing the shit to me that I should have been doing to her, which was like, oh, school's been stressful. I'll try to get back with you when I can. Look, she needs to get on board. And Anthony was like, look, dude, you don't have to break things off. You could still have her in the rotation, but instead of her being a starter for your team, you could just have her be a bench player for a while. And I was like thinking about it, and I was like, all right. And I'll be honest, Anthony, when you told me that, I wasn't really buying it, if I'm being honest. Okay. But I took your advice because it sounded like the best thing to do. I'm like, well, I don't want to have some big confrontational conversation anyway. And you're like, look, this is easy. Just tell her you're busy. Because you are. You're busy with other bitches. But you're not going to tell her that.
Yeah.
You're going to say, look, I've been busy. Work's been crazy. And the thing I'm not mentioning is the 2 other bitches I'm dating. They're getting more of my time, and I'm trying to fill out the rest of my roster with 2 more people and maybe 3 more people because you might be getting eliminated. And these are conversations women can't have, right? They're very emotional. But if you just say, I'm busy, then they can start reading between the lines. Like, oh, what is he not telling me? And women love figuring shit out, too.
Last week when we said, let her interpret you. She don't have to know every fucking thing. Let her interpret what the
It's funny how you and I arrive at the same place at the same time. Yeah, it's like, don't rob a woman of letting her figure you out. They love it. It's great. This is why soap operas are so popular. It's a lot of like figuring out the characters and their motivations and what they're going to do, and it's always changing, and women love that stuff. It's just that's how they're wired. They love it. Men like direct, overt conversation.
Predictable outcomes.
Like we were talking about with the captain of the boat.
Yeah.
Here's the orders. We got hit by a torpedo. Here's what I need y'all to do. All right, I need you to do this, and we're communicating very directly. Women are very covert communicators. And I'm here to tell you, Anthony, the reason that this was brilliant is because I did do what you told me to do. I went out and I found 2 more girls, and they were interesting to meet and hang out, have fun, hook up with. Mm-hmm. And as I did what you told me to do, here comes this other girl. Now, I didn't notice it because I was busy fucking with other chicks. But it was like a month and a half later. It was like a good 6 weeks before old girl was like, "Hey, where'd Wesley go?"
And you're not doing this. You're not looking for an immediate outcome, because I know this
important. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna let you preach, Anthony. This is important. Everybody, listen up. You're not looking for an immediate outcome. Go ahead, Anthony. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not looking for an immediate outcome. I've seen guys say this in our 3% group, right? They're like, I did this, and this was her response, and I don't know what to do next. Because if you're dating one person, the only response you're looking for is this one person. So if you got multiple people that you're talking to and dealing with, you can put the time you used to give that person to another person that's next on your list. So you're not stuck waiting. And she had 6 weeks that she didn't even realize that, like, I'm not getting Wesley's time. I'm not getting the time he was giving me, and he didn't even say anything to me. He didn't say, well, you did this, so I'm going to do this. That looks like you're pouting. You look weak. You just said, you know what? Fine. Cool. I'm going to do this. And you're being you. You're out meeting new women, and you're vetting new women, and you are finding out, you know what? I accept this about women, and I don't accept this about women. You're learning yourself on who you want in your life and who you don't want in your life. This is why you're dating multiple type of women. So once you say, and when she came back to you, guess what? She can't just come back in the position you left her in, right?
No.
If she wants time from you, she got to overcome all these other women that you've been giving time to. She has to earn her way back in. She can't just, oh, well, I was getting 60% of your time. Now that I'm back, I should get back that 60. Nah.
No.
You was at 3% now. And you damn near got forgot about. You can get forgotten about, but guess what? If the sex is good enough, you'll be like, oh, okay, I remember. She gives a sloppy toppy.
Yeah.
I'll give her time, but only enough to get the sloppy toppy, right?
Right.
You don't just get dating. I don't have to like plan a date for us for the weekend and take you out to some art show that we discussed because, you know, I get to include you into my lifestyle again. No, you've been demoted, and on demotion, you got to earn your way back up to the next grade, to the next level. So that was great that you was able to experience it. That way you didn't, because even though you didn't believe it, you experienced it and you was like, wait, there's something to this, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of our listeners are going to experience the same thing. Like,
yeah.
They're gonna hear us say this shit, and it's not going to be really true to you until you experience it, like I experienced it.
Yeah.
And but I don't want to gloss over something you were pointing out, and I want to directly tell our listeners, you do not get credit for past dating.
No.
Ever. No. So for instance, and I'll give you the most extreme example. You're getting back together with an ex. Ugh. You have to treat, and that's never really a good idea, but sometimes it works. Okay, there's outliers. But you have to treat this like a completely new thing. And you're going to do this, and they are going to do this. They're going to think that they get credit that y'all used to be in a past relationship. Motherfucker, no. You're starting from square fucking one, which is the consequence of us breaking up. That is the consequence, guys. If we ever start back up again, it's starting from square one. And bitch, I have changed a little bit as a person since you've been gone. Shit's changed a little bit. So no, we're not going backwards in life. Like, this is all brand new now. So if you guys do that with this, where you've demoted a girl.
When you say brand new, you're not saying, oh, I got to get to know you better, and like you're starting over in dating, but you're talking about you're starting over with
time,
access.
Yeah, access, time. Yeah.
I just wanted to.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Because I don't want you
Meathead to say.
meathead guy like, no, you know what? Wesley's right. Hi, my name's Wesley. What's your name? Let's start this whole thing over. Like you've seen in movies.
Right.
That's dumb fucking shit. I'm really, really glad that you got specific on that, because it's like, no. You don't get the access. Bitch, you don't get to fucking show up at my house unannounced.
Nah.
Motherfucker, I might have somebody here. You know, like, I'll never forget the most awkward shit ever, Anthony, is when a girl thought she was girlfriend when I was dating before they were girlfriend. And I had to have a very overt communication of like, you don't know what I'm going to be doing here. If you show up at the wrong time, you might really have your feelings hurt. I'm trying to protect you right now.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It means what I said.
Right.
We're not getting any more specific than that.
And you shouldn't. Don't let her push you into.
No, fellas.
Yeah.
Well, now and this is what happened. Now I'm mad, and now I'm going to leave. You're saying you're dating other people? I said what I said.
Let her interpret what you say.
Right.
And do not let her know exactly what's going on. Let her figure it out. They're smart, right? They claim to be very smart. Let them be smart and interpret.
I think women are smart.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
you ain't gotta.
I do agree with
you. You ain't gotta
yeah.
let your words, because women hold your words.
But they'll act dumb on you. They'll act dumb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You have to, when they do that shit, play the same fucking game they playing with you. Just let it be what it is. I said, like Wesley, I said what I said.
Yeah. We don't need any other conversation other than you cannot show up here unannounced. As my right as a person that rents an apartment, because I was renting an apartment at the time, I have the right to tell people without apologizing, you need to tell me before the fuck you show up. You are not a girlfriend. You are not a wife.
Facts.
You don't have this kind of access. That's what we mean by access, guys. You can't just like show up at my house. You can't just assume, well, it's the weekend, hanging out with Wes. That is not how this goes. I'll never forget that particular person I'm talking about. Her name began with a Q. I remember I had someone that was out of town that I had dated previously stay with me for a weekend. And I remember how, because I did not lay down the law about you can't come to my place unannounced, I worried the entire weekend that she was going to, and it was my fault because I did not tell her,
just let
you
her
don't
come in
have
and
this
out.
kind of access.
Yeah.
No. You don't have this kind of access.
Even if you say yes every time, right? Even if you say yes every time she asks, you still don't get to come just because you want to. So I can't allow it, and you can't just assume it. So, yeah, definitely have borders. That's what we're saying. Make sure that she respect your boundaries, no matter what, no matter how long you guys have dated. If you haven't given her the access code to come in and out, and she don't have a key, if you don't have a key to the house, you don't have free access. That's just what it is. You just don't.
Yeah. And, well, I'll even say this. Sometimes I've been in situations, I learned to be a lot more specific about ground rules after that. And again, this is in that same vein of promotions and demotions. I like your analogy of talking about sailors on a ship. There's the XO, there's the captain, there's the XO. Then there might be a guy who's the enlisted, the chief master sergeant.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, the chief petty officer. And so he's like head of all the enlisted people on the boat. And is that correct, by the way?
No, it's Master Chief.
Master Chief. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm
right.
prior service Army. But yeah, it's the Master Chief. He's head of all the enlisted guy.
Yeah.
There's different ranks, and you got to promote and demote accordingly, guys. And what it's all about is how much access do they have to you.
You don't get to come in fresh out into the Navy and be like, I want to be the Master Chief.
I remember I was talking to an ex of mine. Oh, I'm telling you, some guys do that. Some guys promote you to Master Chief.
Wow.
Second date. So I was talking to an ex of mine, and men are just lazy when it comes to vagina. They are just like, man, as long as I can have my vagina needs met, I will give you all my attention right here, right now.
Mistakes.
Guys, it's lazy and it never works out.
No.
I'm sorry.
She didn't earn
The
it.
0.001% of people that the first person they slept with in high school, they're still married and they're still together. Save your emails with not all couples or
You're
not
an
all women.
outlier.
But I'm telling you guys, you cannot properly vet someone if you're only dating one woman at a time. It just does not work because you need to be able to throttle. That's a word I want to use. You need to be able to throttle how much access they have to you, because here's what we're talking about is good in a vacuum. But what you're going to find with the 5 women that you're dating, and 5 is a really, really good rotation. 5 is a really manageable number once you get good at dating. But you're going to find that the access that these women have, you're going to have to throttle it up, throttle it down.
Yeah.
Depending on how they're acting.
Yep.
You know, if you throttle it up too fast, they're going to start to lose interest and they're going to fall off. You got to throttle the access up and down in a real world environment.
Well, even with yourself, I've made mistakes by giving too much access to too many women at the same time.
Yeah.
Trying to even out the time and make it fair for each woman, right? Mm-hmm. And you can't do that. You know, if you don't have time, you just don't have time. And if she goes away, she leaves, her interest was low anyway, right?
Yeah, and you should be always taking applications for your company. You don't wait until someone quits your company before you start taking applications. You always got to take applications, file them away. You're going to text them. You're going to text these people that don't make the roster quite yet, and you're going to text them every now and then. What have you been up to, girl? Good to hear from you. I've been busy at work, but we'll catch up later. You know. You're gonna touch them every once in a while to make sure you still have a little bit of access.
I'll be a little bit more unique in my approach because women getting their feelings with that, hey, what's up, text. So I find something that we discussed and kind of.
Yeah, but I still like calling more.
Well,
I still like an occasional phone call.
I wasn't talking about texting. I was saying I like to find something that we discussed and bring that into my conversation when I'm dealing with when I'm reaching back out. Right?
Yeah.
It's very specific. It's something that we did together. It's not general. Right? So now I'm reaching out for a specific conversation, and I can make it into what I want after it. Based on how she responds, right?
Right. But I just what we were talking about before, promotions and demotions in a vacuum, it's sounds simpler than it is.
Oh,
you it's like driving a car. You've got to throttle and let off the gas and brake sometimes, and then hit the gas and
right.
To get around a car in a certain situation, it's never just fluid. You know what I mean? You've got to change the amount of access you're giving to women. Now, the reason we're telling you this is because it's really hard. You have to have a very deliberate approach to promoting and demoting your access to certain women because this is all easy to say when you're dating a bunch of 5s.
Oh, man, yeah.
It's super easy to be like, well, honey, she ain't going to get as much time. Right. But if you're dating 4 5s and 1 8, you're going to catch yourself slipping. What you really should graduate to is treating all women the same, no matter what they, no matter how attractive they are. no matter how attractive they are, you should be treating all women the same. That's what women want, right? What's wrong with that, Anthony? No, it shouldn't matter about looks. Go ahead and give them what they want. Because honestly, guys, you should be treating all women the same, no matter what. But I'm going to tell you, you start dating that 1.9 or that 1.10, ooh.
You start to change shit. You're like, should I? Should I or shouldn't I? Because I'm guilty. I'm guilty myself. When she's very attractive, you're like, I'm gonna change because I can't lose this one, right? Because you're so used to dating the 7s and 6s, you get a 9 or 10, and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
I got to do something different because she's different.
Yeah,
right?
She's different, so I got to do some shit. No.
Nah, she's the
you got to
same.
do everything the same.
It's one thing that Donovan Sharp says about that, and this true, man, is that it's easier to talk to 9s and 10s. It's just harder to sleep with them. It's harder to sleep with the.
That is a really good take. I never heard that before,
and 7s,
but it's right.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's harder to sleep with them.
The 6s it's easy to sleep with the 6-7. It's just harder to talk to them because guess what? She an average bitch. So many guys. We talked about this before. Guys that are 9s and 10s talk to bitches that are 5s and 6s, right?
Oh man,
because they know it's easy, low hanging fruit.
Exactly. You're just like, I want to fuck right now.
Exactly.
So here we go, and then but. What happens is that 6 or 7,
I just think
they walk around the world thinking that 9s and 10s.
They're 9s and 10s.
Yeah, because they're fucking a male 9 or 10.
Right.
And they think this is what. It's 100% right because done it. And it's so much easier to talk to 9s and 10s because they don't get talked to by a lot of guys.
Right.
A lot of guys. And again, you're going to hear guys say, well, she's out of my league.
Right.
Motherfucker, she's just a girl, dude.
Right.
She can, by the way, 9s and 10s can reject you, and guess what else 6 and 7s can do to you? They can reject you.
Exactly.
What does it matter?
And it feels worse when it comes from a 5 and 6 than it does a 9 and 10.
Oh, repeat that, Anthony. Please tell them that again.
It feels worse being rejected by a 5 or 6 than a 9 or 10. So why wouldn't you just fucking approach a 9 or 10?
It feels worse to be rejected by a 5 or 6 than a 9 or 10. I want you guys to internalize that. A 9 or 10, you can be like, well, shit. I mean, that was a bad bitch right there. Fuck. But when you get rejected by a 5 or 6, you're like, God damn, what's wrong with me? What has happened?
Exactly.
This fat, old school Jennifer Hudson looking bitch, she totally dissed me to my face. Oh my God. Yeah, man.
That is hilarious because even I've been rejected by 4s, right? And when we call them 49ers, 4s, they think they're 9 because she thinks that
49ers.
She's not. That's shout out to Coach Greg Adams. He says that a lot. 4s, they think they're 9s because it's every guy is like hollering at her because hey, you fucking. When they're talking to her and they're saying, what's your name? Well, you know, what you like and, hey, you want to go out? They're not asking her these questions. This is a slow question to, you fucking? Because that's exactly what that is. And if she's not, and if she, like, turns her nose up at you because every other guy's asking her these same questions, and she's like, and she's like, wait. I'm at a higher level because, like you said, I fucked a 9 and 10 guy before, so I can always get a 9 and 10 guy. No, bitch, he just wanted to fuck right now.
Also, women confuse their relationship market value with sexual market value.
It's just sex.
Just because a man wants to sleep with you doesn't mean he wants you. You know what I mean? So, but it's easy to get confused, especially if you're a 4. And you're probably walking around in the world insecure anyway. Yeah. Like Natalie Merchant. She's probably a little insecure. Anthony, sidebar to the Natalie Merchant thing. Everybody in the room that was guessing her age, everyone guessed at least a decade older.
See? But you're wrong for telling that.
But I'm wrong because I don't think she's beautiful. Oh, my God. Anthony, we got a little time left. I love that promotion demotion segment. Do you want to get into when it comes to vetting women? Does the past matter?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and ask yourself this question: when it comes to vetting women, guys, does the past matter? Now, let's bring
100.
front and center, Anthony, our greatest, because this is also someone everybody knows. Full disclosure, Anthony and I have the same opinion of this person. We admire
Her
hustle, getting out of the gutter, and making herself well over a multimillionaire. We're talking about Cardi B. And this is the greatest example of does her past matter? Because in her past, I mean, now she is a world famous artist, right?
Yeah.
Everyone can admit to that. Does her being a stripper in the past, does that matter now? I mean, now that she's a world, multi-platinum artist, if she comes on your song, she's going to make your song probably world famous. She's that level of person in show business.
Yeah,
now.
she would actually be a feature where it
Yeah.
matters, right?
Yeah.
So
we're not knocking the hustle. By the way, I mean, I'm easily, and full disclosure to everybody here, if a Cardi B song comes on the radio, I'm the first person to turn it up. I enjoy her music. I'm not sure where you're at with that, Anthony. So
I'm
that
good.
But are you turning it down? I caught you the other day singing some Cardi B lyrics.
I don't hate all of her music. I just don't think that she's just the level where people, because we're in a society where everything is awesome and amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, words don't matter anymore. Everybody's fucking great. So my thing is, I would if you told me, and we're just showing my age right now, if you say Cardi B or MC Light, Cardi B or Queen Latifah.
I would take Cardi over Queen Latifah.
I'm old school. I like Queen Latifah.
I like MC Light for sure.
MC Light would annihilate.
Also, MC Light was kind of like the first rapper we all wanted to sleep with.
Oh, yeah.
Too. Yeah.
For sure. Queen Latifah, not so much.
Right.
Eve, you remember Eve?
Yeah.
I would probably give Cardi B songs, but Eve's tenacity on the mic, I would give that to her.
I like this because I'm with Cardi on that one too. I like where you're going because I like the comparison. Do another one.
I'm not sure if you listened to Mia X from No Limit, but she was.
Oh yeah. She was good.
Yeah.
Now that one I would go with Mia X.
Yes.
Heard her on a lot of like where she's a featured on songs.
Exactly.
She was in that song "Make 'Em Say
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. I don't know. Her voice is, but that's why I like Cardi B. I really like the sounds of rapping voices, especially if they're unusual. Like I find myself really liking Sweetie. She has that My Type, that song My Type.
Oh, okay.
I really enjoy her voice because it gives me like a feeling like kind of like I'm listening to Salt and Pepper.
Oh, okay.
Like in the past, like when they first came out, and she's not afraid to get like really dirty.
What
like,
was the
ride the
name?
dick all night? Ride the dick all
Cinderella.
night?
Was Cinderella and with Salt and Pepper?
Spinderella.
Spinderella. Okay.
Yeah.
She was I don't remember her doing anything beyond like a couple of songs with Salt and Pepper. So
yeah, but Salt and Pepper to me, I mean they're
but Salt and Pepper
they
strong.
to me they have their place in the game for sure.
Yeah.
You know. Then
Left
they had that Left Eye burning down Andre Rison's house.
She's infamous for that.
But Left Eye, that's a good transition because does Left Eye's past?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, it matters.
So when you're vetting women, does their past matter? And I don't think you
It's
could have a better example than Cardi B, who's led 2 separate lives, right? She used to just kind of be a stripper in the club, and now she's a world famous star in show business. Just recently started doing movies and shit. So we have to start this conversation by unpacking it, because Cardi B has changed what we view strippers as. Am I even allowed to call them strippers, Anthony?
Yeah. Why would you say
Some of them want to be called dancers.
Man, you're a fucking stripper. Like, are you taking your clothes off? Yes, you're a stripper.
Well, so we can do this live right here. Let me be the devil's advocate. Why are strippers treated like they're lower? I mean, men go to see them, right? So are the men lower too?
Lower how?
For example, if everybody watches porn, because we all do, right?
Billions of people. Yeah.
Why do we then get to treat the porn stars like they're lower? And here's the truth serum. Would you let a porn star babysit your child?
Probably not.
See, that's the truth serum. Like when you talk about your kids, right? Like,
right.
But we all love porn. So why don't we just treat them nice? You know, like what is it?
So
yeah, right?
I'll say this. If you are familiar with the strip club scene, if you want to make money as a stripper, you probably got to do more than strip. Let's just say that.
Unless you are just dime of dimes.
Well, you have to be, and at that point,
and,
you're
and
probably
what percentage of the female population are
very
dimes?
Small,
it's very small. But you don't have to perform any kind of lewd anything,
right?
In a strip club, if you are the dime of dimes, you can cock tease a dude all night long,
right.
Make a couple thousand a night, but you are the outlier stripper. You're not the regular stripper. And unfortunately, they have to fill these fucking clubs full of strippers.
Right.
Now, we've seen some before photos of Cardi B.
I was just about to say, Cardi B, like, dolled up, is above average looking. With Cardi B, regular Cardi B, walking in the airport in Houston to do the rodeo is like, that's not the same person, is it?
Yeah. Now, what work has she had, Anthony?
She had her teeth done because she had she looked like she was a fucking shark.
Oh boy.
Her
Those
mouth looked
teeth
like a
are
shark.
bad. We just pulled it up. Oh my goodness.
The teeth was not.
But it's amazing how much her teeth fixes her whole face, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, it's insane. Like how important your teeth are to your looks.
Her personality had to outshine how her teeth look.
Oh boy! Oh my God!
Otherwise,
do you see this before and after?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know this is bad radio for our listeners, but you are getting to hear us react to before and after photos of Cardi B. Easily, you can Google this on your phone.
Looking like Shark Tank, like Shark Week and shit.
So for our listeners, her bottom front teeth look like little tiny baby teeth or something. Which makes the rest of her bottom teeth look really, really weird. And Cardi B is the first to tell you in all of her music that it took a lot of money to fix her teeth.
Yeah.
And
they say it took a bag.
Yeah, you're hearing me. Yeah. Took a bag to fix my teeth. Hope you hoes know that ain't cheap. Like, man, but I didn't know it was this bad. And, wow. I bet my wife knows because my wife works in the dental industry. I bet
How much
she knows.
It costs?
Well, I bet she knew about what her teeth looked like before because I'm seeing it for the first time, and I'm shocked.
Look at the photo. Go back down. Look at that photo in the middle right there. Look how regular and bad. Like you would not approach her if you didn't know that was Cardi B.
There's something going on with her eyes where she looks like Count Chocula.
Well, her eyes are always made up though. Look at her eyes made up. It's always made up. The big eyelashes and the it takes away from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was. And trust me, if you're a stripper, you're living a hard fucking life, man. Lifestyle. You're
okay. So let's get into it. So why do we dog on strippers? Why do we say a girl's she's a show business icon now, but she used to be a stripper? Why does that even mean she has a dark past?
Of course.
Okay, so let's.
You're not stripping because, listen, the lies that are told about strippers are stripping just to pay for school is laughed at.
Every stripper that's young loves that lie. If you've been to a strip club, you always get the smart stripper is always there, right?
Even that song that came out, "I'm in love with a stripper." I'm like judging you. I'm like, you in love with a stripper?
It's not smart to be in love with a stripper. No.
Come on, Drake. Stop falling in love with strippers, man.
No shit. So let's unpack what a stripper's life looks like. A lot of drug addiction.
Possibly.
A lot of late nights. Does it lend itself to being a good mother? We're not talking about outliers, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We're talking about the life of a stripper. Now, let me throw some water in your face. Do you want your daughter to be a stripper?
Of course not.
You see what I'm saying?
What did Chris Rock say?
A lot of the things you're doing with your daughters are trying to keep her off that pole.
Off the fucking pole.
Right. So it's one of those things, guys. I mean, that typically is the truth serum. When you think about your children, well, I mean, what's the big deal? Why is it such a big deal that she is a stripper? I mean, it shouldn't be that big a problem. I mean, men are going to the club. Man, everybody just shut the fuck up. There's a lot of drugs and addiction in this environment. It's late nights. Late night careers are not good for people. Ask truck drivers.
Right.
Ask policemen, ask anybody that works late nights. That is not conducive to good family life. But
your body is naturally tired at night.
Yeah. Then you got to deal with everything is based on my looks.
Yep.
Yeah. Like we were talking about poor Natalie Merchant having to leave the house earlier. Like,
yeah.
You are completely, I mean, it's got to be psychologically cumbersome to be looked at like this. So it's not good. And like I said, anybody that's arguing with me, ask yourself the question, if you have a daughter, do you want her to strip? Is that what you... Yeah, but if she did strip, I would support her. I would totally... Man, you wouldn't want to support her. You would just have to support her so you could have a relationship with your daughter.
And Cardi B, at this point in time, at the pinnacle of her life right now, was in a movie, and you would think if I was going to be in a movie, I wouldn't want my past to be brought back up to portray who I am. So if she's actually not a stripper at heart, to her core, and she was given a stripper role, you're probably like, I really don't want to do that because that's not my life. That's not who I am. But she was in a movie where she was portrayed as a stripper. And this is the pinnacle of who she is. And it's like she made a cameo appearance and she's a stripper. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that is who she is. And her past does matter because it probably gives you answers to why the behaviors that she portrays in public or on IG. She's very famous on IG for getting out of line and doing shit or saying shit that probably she shouldn't, right?
Right.
But listen
and again, that's things from her past. But Anthony, can't we just be positive and just be like, that's part of her past. She's no longer a stripper. I can date Cardi B now. No problem, right? Well, let's listen. Let's listen to what Cardi B's take is.
Interesting. I love this. She did an interview on Vlad TV.
Oh, yeah. Could you plug this for us?
Yeah, Cardi B does an interview on Vlad TV, and she goes into how she did grimy things to guys while dating him when she was a stripper. And after she became more famous, how she treated guys.
Either way, so it's just it just goes to show you that it's not even all about the money. Like, for example, I have so much ex-boyfriends that did me so filthy, and it's like all of a sudden, like, you want to treat me like you want to be with me, you want to treat me like I'm golden, and it's like I'm still the same girl. I still got the same vagina, I still got the same ass, and I still talk the same, and I still cook the same. And it's just like I feel like people don't even love me anymore for Bacardi, Belcalis. Like, people love me, Cardi B. I feel like sometimes people don't even love me for me. Like, I feel like people just love the clout. People like the fact that, like, yeah, my girl got money now. Like, my girl is a get money bitch. My bitch gets in here. My bitch is right there. It just made me feel like, wow, am I ever going to find real love for me? Like, is anybody ever going to love me? And I just be feeling like, sometimes I even catch myself, like, telling the guy that I'm dealing with, like, you don't love me. You just love me because I am who I am. Nah, the reason why you don't leave me is because I am who I am. Because I be doing fucking grimy shit to these guys, and they don't leave me. And it's like, why you not leaving me? Because I am who I am?
Like.
Was there a little more, Anthony?
I mean, shit. Like, what do you mean?
You know, I be doing my thing. Like, I be playing games. I play games. And it's like, I bet if I was a regular bitch, like, 'cause it's like, oh, guys be telling me, like, no woman ever did this to me. No girl ever made me feel this way. No girl ever shitted on me like this before. And it's like, so why are you letting me do this to you?
Interesting. Interesting. Let's unpack the first part. Okay. I'm still the same girl. I still have the same vagina. I still cook the same. So, a girl's past, do we see that even though she's a world star... By the way, guys, this is a new interview, March 27th of 2019. She's already a superstar.
She's already Cardi B.
Can we observe, first and foremost, Anthony, she can't escape her self-perception of just being a stripper from the gutter.
No, she can't.
No. I'm Cardi B. I still have the same vagina. I still cook the same, you know.
Just like women who are big and then got small, they still have some mentality of them still being big chicks.
Right. Yeah.
So she can't get rid of that mentality of, I was a slut. I was out here sucking and fucking for cash. And you're trying to treat me golden and different than what I was. So why are you doing that? Why are you treating me better? Because she first said, guys treat me filthy, right? Her boyfriends was treating her filthy.
In the past.
In the past, right. As a stripper. Well, where guys was like, well, we were just discussing, you was like, well, do you go out and respect these women at a high level? Probably not. You treating them like the way they're acting. You know, they're being flirtatious and physically on men, multiple men, strange men they don't know, for money. It is what it is. So men are not respecting you in that aspect. They treating you like she said in her words, filthy. But
yeah, still,
these are her boyfriends, though. These aren't the men that are seeing her. These are her boyfriends now.
And also, that to me is like she gets to be shitty to people in the future.
But she stayed around these same filthy guys that she said was treating her that way.
She could have just dumped them and and
better
still
than that.
had her truth. But no, she's using this as an excuse to, and this is the big part of this, grimy shit.
Right.
She does grimy shit. Now, can we just fucking get through all the fluff? If you guys, again, this is on Vlad TV. If you want to see her reaction when he says, well, what do you mean by grimy things?
Yeah.
She does the whole, like, oh.
Right.
I don't know how I'm going to answer this. Like, you can see the look on her face.
completely.
You know, like grimy things. It's clear, guys. Suck another dick, take another dick, and taking other men's dicks that are not your boyfriend in whatever hole. Mouth, vagina, ass, whatever. Okay? Anthony, because I know I'm the mean guy on this podcast. Could doing grimy things mean anything else? I want to make sure for our listeners' sake we have a voice.
You can go on.
I mean, grimy things don't necessarily mean like sleeping with other guys. I mean, you could just be like not answer his text.
No,
and that would be grimy, right?
Nope. Look up grimy on Urban Dictionary and let's figure out what grimy means, because Cardi B isn't speaking from Webster's dictionary, I promise you, when she say grimy.
Are you sure?
I promise you that. I promise you that.
So can we just get, okay, so grimy in Urban Dictionary means a backstabber is a grimy person.
Ooh.
Untrustworthy, doing wrong to others to gain something. Selfish.
Girlfriend material.
Willing to step on people to get on the top. That wasn't written well. Doing something fucked up to anybody, even a so-called friend, if it gets you something out of it.
That's the top-notch type of girl I want in my life.
Well, the reason that we played that video for guys is because we're not speculating. You heard that from Cardi B's mouth.
100.
Just because she became a world show business superstar, it doesn't sound like she's changed much from her stripper days.
Not at all.
And this is what we're trying to precisely point out to guys. A woman's past is a good
indicator,
a great barometer for her future. You know, I mean, it's one of those things where like they will tell you all day long that I'm no longer stripper Cardi B in this terrible environment. I got my teeth fixed. But they really can't escape their self-perception, can they?
No. Do you think so? She probably did things that she probably regrets. I think that exists. But let me ask you something. Do you think she would revert back to doing grimy things to a guy when she finds herself available to be able to be with a guy that's better than the guy she's with? Do you think she'll do grimy things?
I think that's her past, so I think that is exactly what she would do.
I think so.
Yeah, I think when she was in her past, where she was, I mean, she was kind of like a lot of these primordial women that we talk about. When she was like in the gutter, not making a lot of money, this was a survival technique for her. You know, to upgrade guys meant better chance at survival. You know, I don't know. I think I don't think we could have found a better case study for does a woman's past predict her future?
Right.
You know, as we all, not all women, you know, not all women.
I hear a lot of women like, try to stand behind Cardi B because they were like, she stayed loyal to, her husband when he was, I guess perceived to be cheating on her or whatever. And women are like, well, and a lot of even men would be like, hey, she stuck around. She stayed there. But did she stay because Offset, she's married to Offset, right?
Right. Of Migos.
Did she stick around? Because I remember her saying that marrying him was a great business deal.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest on this program, I'm gonna allow her to be honest, because it was right. Was it the only thing? I mean, we don't want to find ourselves guilty of what other people do to piss us off.
She finds him attractive. She finds him a high value man, right? Mm-hmm. You know, she's not with him because she didn't find these things, right?
But arguably, she's a bigger star than him now.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Because I even was surprised about it. But the thing is, guess what? She stood with a guy who cheated on her more than once. And she's not mad at it because guess what she was doing? Cheating on guys more than once, being grimy.
Now, we don't know with Offset, but we do know she's done that in the past.
Right. Well, I'm not saying...
which is the title of our segment. The title of our segment being, when it comes to vetting a woman, does her past predict her future? You know? And if she could find a better guy than Offset, the problem is it's going to be really hard for her to find a better guy than Offset, right?
Right.
That's going to be a little tough because she still is.
Because guys are only. Because guess what, man? If you're being honest with yourself, and a chick told you she was a stripper versus being a doctor, let's just use extreme contrast here.
Right.
If she told you that, and even if you, as a guy who's used to having sex with beautiful women, your approach to her sexually and conversely will be dramatically different, right? You're saying, even though I want to have sex with this doctor, just as much I want to have sex with this stripper, I expect this stripper to give it up faster than this doctor. And I'm not going to hold anything back sexually from this stripper than I am with this doctor. If this doctor say I don't want to give you head, you'll probably accept that more than this stripper says she don't want to give you head, right? You like, you ain't gonna give me head. You a stripper. You ain't gonna give me head.
But I'm already hearing what our naysayers are going to say. Well, what's the problem? Both of them are doing a legal, honest living, and they're going to go into all this diatribe that I don't want to fucking listen to be honest. That's where I cut them off. But here's what's happening, and this is the problem with taking on stripping as a profession. It damages you sexually as a woman. It's not natural for women to just be up in front of the entire tribe. And again, I'm using primordial terms. Right. In front of the tribe, being naked, presenting themselves to the entire tribe, many, many people naked. It's just not natural. And it damages you psychologically. It damages your self-esteem. And that's though women in the stripping entertainment business, whatever you want to call it, though they do make a lot of money, there's a price to be paid.
Oh, yeah.
And it psychologically damages you because it's very unnatural for women to do that.
And they don't want to admit it at publicly, but yes. You say that, and I don't know, like you said, the true term, would you want your daughter, even if you had to go through it and you were successful and whatever, even if you were a woman who didn't have to have sex as a stripper to make extra money, would you want your daughter to be in that? So that's the true term of it all. And vetting women and their past on, it doesn't have to be stripping, but how they dealt with other men. That's what's more important. That's important. Yep. So.
Yeah, 100%. I think the conclusion to this segment is absolutely a woman's past. When it comes to vetting women, a woman's past does matter, guys. And as we go into 2020 and we start, 2020, Anthony, my goal for our listeners is they're going to start vetting women a lot better. That's my goal for them. I want them to consciously be vetting women.
And be okay with letting them go when they don't meet certain criteria that you need from her.
I don't know. I think it's a good episode. I like that we got to a lot of great things, a lot of specifics that our listeners can take away. Anthony, when we do the next podcast, we are going to be embarking on a new year, new me. Right? And I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited about all the things we can do with this podcast in 2020. Thank you guys so much that have joined us down here at Navigation Studios for episode 8 we've got a lot of exciting things coming up this year. We're going to have a lot of live stuff, a lot more interactive stuff. Anthony, what have you got for our listeners for 2020?
I'm going to be bringing the same intensity and same knowledge.
Yeah, I think we both are. I think we've got a lot of exciting things for us. Thank you guys for being part of our audience, rather. And can't wait for a 2020 with everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Red Pill Phone Tap.